last season, the Huskies running back gained 1,000 yards. Excuse me, the last Huskies running back to gain 1,000 yards was Irv Seigler, who had 2,000 yards in 1997. Notes from last week's game. Bloomsburg let East Stroudsburg get inside the 25-yard line 0 times. Very key. Their defense is very, very strong. Another note is penalty yards hurt both teams last week. Combined penalties, 182 yards by both schools. Notes on Bloomsburg. They're second in scoring in the PSAC on 34 points a game. Third in rushing offense at 233. Second overall with 200 yards passing. Total offense first at 434. Scoring defense is first, averaging 12.3 points a game. They're seventh against the pass, first against the run, first overall, first and third down conversions, first in passing efficiency, third in pass efficiency defense, fourth with sacks, with 19 sacks for 115 yards. They're first in the conference, 162 first down. Fourth down conversion with a defense is spotless at 12.5%.
So Mansfield's got their work cut out for them.
They got their work cut out for them today, but I tell you what, the team's hyped up. I mean, like I was telling you earlier in the week, and I think I mentioned to Carl, the road doesn't get any easier for Mansfield. I mean, next week they got Kutztown in here, and then followed by East Stroudsburg and Lockhaven. And last week they had Millersville. And I commented to you that the schedule overall for Mansfield, combined record as of right now of everyone they played and will have to play yet is 35-28, and basically everyone's been ranked all year. So
they have had their work cut out for them. But you know what? I think this is kind of like, Mansfield's taking their licks. Mansfield's going to have to get out there, and they're going to have to take their licks right now. They got a new coach. They got a young team. Everybody says they're small. I don't think that's. I think that's somewhat of a factor. But I think if they're just talking about height, yeah, they are small. I think they can get stronger. I think they can work more as a unit. Honestly, I think this season is just like, their starting season. They got their first. They got the new coach. They got new players. They got a lot of young guys. New quarterback. I think it's going to take this season to get through it.
Yes, Carl.
I'm just saying, we're back to get down here at kickoff, and this team looks real pumped up here on the sideline. Let's see how quick they come out. See if we get a little better start than we did in the past few weeks.
Yeah, and last week they gave up a lot of points early, ended up losing 32-7, and they gave a lot of points in homecoming. So you got to see how they come out here.
Zach Quigley for the kick for the Bloomsburg Huskies, and we are underway as it is brought by Steve Smith from the 10-yard line. Steve Smith out to the 20, out to the 25, and brought down at the 25-yard line. Steve Smith going to be quite a utility man today, being that Rarick is coming back from an injury, Hudak being an old quarterback. He's also starting receiver, and especially with Bennett out, we're going to need Steve Smith's his speed today.
And I don't know what you think about this. Maybe we could see some trickery today with Hudak in there, a wide receiver, maybe the old double pass.
The thing is, that wouldn't be a bad idea right now. As Hudak and Rarick set up to the left, and Steve Smith, the flank to the right, as Motley gets under center, the big man Brian Comfer with an eye back, and Joe Holland starting as the tailback today. Motley drops back, screen pass out to Rarick. Rarick takes it up the field to the 32-yard line. You know what? It was almost a prediction by my friend JR that in the first 10 plays they're going to be running about 3 or 4 screen passes. And the thing is, at this point, when you look at the defense that Bloomsburg has, what else can they do?
You got to work the short passes. You got to work.
I want to see Joe Holland run. I want to see Joe Holland run.
Set up your run. You got to work the pass. You got to work the short passes. Nice little pass there. Now we got 5 wide receivers, so they're changing the offense up right off the bat.
5 wide receivers: Angel Baines, Rarick, Hudak, and Smith. Motley drops the pass. Short pass over to Angel Baines. Great blocking down the field by Jake Briggs. Angel Baines gets the first down to the 40-yard line. And this is an executing offense right here. This is exactly what they need to do.
That right there is a quick slant screen over the middle. Is so the lineman let defense suck in.
The linemen, as I'm calling them all season, the men in black. Jake Briggs came down, put a crushing block on the middle linebacker, giving Angel Baines that first down. The men in black, I'm calling.
Carl, go ahead.
What do you guys think about Holland over Roscoe today?
I think that's a move.
I think it's a move that had to be made, but from what I understand, it's a discipline problem, and we'll talk about that a little later on.
In the I formation, Holland and Loisel with 2 wide left, 1 wide right. Motley drops back to pass. It's tipped, and it's almost intercepted. It hits the ground, and once again, now there's a problem with your quick drops. If your lineman if the D line catch on, put your hands in the air, block it.
You always taught to put your hands up in the air. Carl, about Jason Roscoe, the past couple weeks he's been favoring some injuries here and there. I mean, maybe you think this is a way of coach disciplining him, say, hey, look, suck it up.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think if it's a discipline problem with Jason Roscoe, and that's what needs to be done. I don't know. Like Lee was saying last week, the guy's got speed. I don't know if maybe pulling him against in such a big game is a real good idea, but we'll see.
Another passing down. It looks 4 wide left, and Angel Baines, the lone step out to the right. The pass, again, quick drop. It's a screen intended for Holland and knocked down.
And Miley's defense there, that's not his problem. I mean, as an offensive lineman, you're taught to keep the defender's hands down. And with the 4 wide area, you had the middle. You had 3 slots, and the second guy in, he was up on the line of scrimmage, so it made everyone else eligible. And I mean, it was a nice little set up the screen.
But that's the problem with coming with the screen.
And we talked about before we went on the air, and how a lot of it has to do with the maturity of a quarterback in your team.
Loisel and Holland in the I formation. Motley snaps, hands off to Holland. Oh, it's a fake. Fake me out. Pass to Klecko. Klecko completed the 50-yard line. It looks as though the spot is going to give him the first down. Again, I said in the beginning before this, I said you got to go to Klecko. Klecko's got hands. He had a concussion last week. He came back. He's obviously, well, from that one right there, performed. Motley, I'm giving him credit on that one. A beautiful fake. I thought he handed off to Holland right there.
I tell you what, and I like to watch. I'm a big college football fan, and I like Division I football. And I tell you what, I would take Mike Klecko as a tight end over any tight end in Division I because of his hands and the speed that he has after catching the ball.
He was catching them with broken fingers earlier in the season. With the I formation, LaSalle and Holland in again. It'll be handed off to Holland up the middle. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. The thing is, now here's the example of why they're going to put Holland in instead of Roscoe. Holland, although he may have danced there, Holland puts his head down, his shoulders around the ball, and drives it forward.
He's a big bruising back.
I think that's what Mansfield needs right now.
And Pennsylvania football style is you have a big bruising back. Nothing against Jason Roscoe.
Right.
He's a fabulous back. He has the speed. Dan Holland has the size and the speed, but not the speed that Roscoe has. Roscoe favorite had an ankle injury earlier in the year, so, I mean, who knows? We'll find out.
LaSalle, the lone setback, as Motley gets under center. Gets his offense ready, calls his cadence. Hands off to LaSalle and Loisel. And waiting for
right there, we saw the right guard, Dan Jacque. He did his little guard trap there. And, hey, he picked up 2-3 yards. Usually say to come out of the huddle, get 4.
They're sending in number 2, Conway Brown. Interesting. Earlier in the season, Conway plays a lot of special teams. He's very, very fast. He's small, but he's very fast. Interesting to see what they're going to do with him right now as Motley's in the shotgun with Loisel and Holland to his right and left. Drops back. It's going to be a screen down the middle, and it was to go to Conway Brown, but he overthrew him. And
we got a late flag, Steve, and I tell you what, there might have been a little problem there after the play, a little confrontation. We'll have to see what it is.
Yeah, there was a little pushing and shoving after that play.
And I think we have an illegal substitution.
Oh.
Nope.
The referee called it on the wrong side.
Now, at first I thought it was an illegal substitution because one hand on top is usually a legal substitution, but he pointed towards Bloom, and then he pointed towards Mansfield, so I don't know.
Legal man downfield.
And which on the screen I never really get because as long as the receiver's behind.
Right, but that could have been it.
Yeah.
He could have been past. He could have been beyond the line of scrimmage, which it's hard to tell, especially from up here.
Who knows? I mean, it's really hard. We got to get our referee's mic down there.
So number 23, John Johnson, the All-American, will be punting for the Mountaineers, and it's a fake. Oh, they go with a fake, and it doesn't work. And wow, that was it was the the pass was intended for Derrickis Hayes. I think that got everybody off guard at this point. But
it caught everyone off guard, and everyone's applauding him for the courage to go for it there. But you're going against the #1 offense in the PSAC. You don't want to give them the ball on their 47-yard line. That's like giving the ball on the 3-yard line.
I think by doing that, though, it shows them that, hey, we're going to pull out all the stops today. Only what does Mansfield have to lose? Absolutely nothing. I think it was a gutsy call by Coach Gilbert, and a good one.
And as Bloom goes on the offensive side of the ball, Steve?
That's right. As I try and find my 2 deep again. Number 10, Eric Miller, drops back to pass. Passes downfield to number 8, Mike Lelko, their tight end, who catches it for a completion of about 30 yards. And I guess that's what you were talking about.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Carl.
Guys, you gotta really question that call, guys. You're not even 3 minutes into this game. They're going for a fake conversion. Like you said, you are the best offense in the PSAC. You gotta question that call.
That I think Bloomsburg just kind of smacked Mansfield in the face and said, you want to do that again?
Hey, and Steve, like I said to you before, I mean, Bloomsburg's having one of their better years ever, and they're not even getting recognized in our area because they got Berwick.
Exactly. As Miller hands off to numbers. Number 12, who lost his hat right there, Marquise Glaze. His helmet popped off there for a second. I thought he was a ref. But for a gain of about 3 yards.
And I'm still trying to fathom that call there.
Still a little confused on that call. It was a call as Miller gets underneath his center. Doug Werner, fullback, the lone setback with 3 wide left. Miller hands off to his fullback, Doug Werner. And he'll gain about 3 yards to bring it 3rd down and about 4. You know, interesting to see Mansfield's like stepping it up now. You know,
the defense usually does play pretty tough down low. I mean, your defense got to pick it up there. I mean,
absolutely.
They realized the special teams didn't help them out there. It was a gamble. I tell you what. Another thing was there, the gamble there. It was still wouldn't have gotten the first down because he was right on the yard marker. Receivers still don't go past the yard marker.
Right. As Miller brings out his offense with Werner still in the back, the lone setback in the backfield, 3 wide right. He's gonna bootleg it out to the side, and it's complete for a touchdown to Mike Alelko of Bloomsburg. And the crowd is silent as the small crowd from Bloomsburg picks it up on their side of the field.
And I tell you what, the small crowd from Bloomsburg, I tell you what, it's more than you think it is over there, Steve. It's a pretty big crowd.
The thing is, that was executed almost perfectly by Bloomsburg. Mansfield's going to have to do some serious adjusting here.
JR and Steve, this is not the way you wanted to start this game. I mean, I look back to that call. 22 Haynes was covered, was double covered, and you still went for it on a 4th down.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as a kick happens here and the extra point is good, I mean, you got to really wonder. I mean, it's not a turnover. It doesn't go on the book as a turnover. This goes over the...
We'll sit back for the kickoff. The kicker, Chris Thompson, number 4, made the PAT after the touchdown.
That drive was 4 plays, 52 yards in 1:41.
As you were saying earlier, JR, that the quarterback, Eric Miller, only needs 400-some yards.
400-some yards to break the school record. So I don't know if we'll see it this afternoon.
Well, let's hope Mansfield doesn't give him the opportunity.
Yeah. Mansfield's defense now has to tighten it up, and so the offense needs to suck it up a little bit and say, hey, let's go. Let's play like we did in the Ithaca game and the games before that.
They were executing well in the beginning. I just think that too many times it's attitude. Just like Carl said, it's the older guys leading them. They got to say, hey, okay, we're down 7-0. We got to play this game like it's nothing, and get right back into it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the sideline, Bloomsburg is just loaded over there with guys, and Mansfield just doesn't have the numbers yet, so the depth this late in the season plays a little bit of a factor.
Steve Smith with the kickoff return to about the 20-yard line as the offense will make its way back out onto the field. The men in black, as I like to call them, the big men up front, Fiacconi, Briggs, Confer, Arend, and Jaquay. They are they're like a well-oiled machine when doing well. A couple of games ago when I remember Dan Wilson was just Wilson was running unbelievable, and the offensive line was just running so well, and they need that today as Motley is in the shotgun already.
Quick screen.
With Loisel, I do believe, out to his right. No, that's Parlanti. Quick pass, and it is dropped by Angel Baines. I think it's only going to work so far. After constantly doing it, it's only going to work so far.
And I'd tell you what, I've been one of Motley's biggest supporters. I feel that in the future, he will be one of the best quarterbacks to play here at Mansfield. But, right there, you got a question to play. He threw it in double coverage. So, I guess we're going to have to wait and see if he starts to pick it up a little bit.
Exactly. As whistles are called, I do believe a timeout was called by Coach Gilbert.
Guys, what's going to be funny to see today is if this game is going to be very reminiscent of the ones we saw against Westchester and Millersville. In that Mansfield, their average starting field position, and it's just been atrocious.
Absolutely.
Westchester had started every one of their drives within Mansfield territory.
The women are in action the 21st at Lock Haven. So stay tuned to John 89.5 for further details.
Parlanti and Holland in the I formation. Rarick and Smith to the left, Baines to the right as Motley sets under Confer. Drops back, short pass, passes to nobody. The cornerback is getting in Baines' face. I think the cornerbacks are catching on. So they're starting to put their helmets in the faces of the receivers.
I'll tell you what, I've been a Gilbert supporter since day one. When he came in here, I said that he was going to be a good coach, and I had him on my show last year. We interviewed him. I tell you what, I'm wondering where the running game's at here.
You need to do something with Holland. You've got him out there. He's fresh. He's off the injury now. He's back in it with Motley in the shotgun. He hands off to Bennett. And there's going to be encroachment on the defense, I do believe.
And again, a lot of extra pushing and shoving down here on the field for us.
And Carl, we mentioned it in the game, pregame, 182 yards last week combined by Stroudsburg and Bloomsburg in penalty yards, and we've seen how penalties have killed Mansfield all year. Mansfield's got to say, let Bloomsburg take these penalties, correct?
Oh, definitely, JR. Definitely. Players have to understand here that when the whistle blows, the play is over. And some of these guys just have to keep telling them that week after week, and it's beginning to really take its toll on the Mountaineer team.
We used to call them stupid fouls. You don't do it. It's just something when exactly as you said, Carl. It's just things when the whistle blows, the play is dead. Don't continue because it's a stupid penalty, and it puts you in a bad mind frame already.
Coaches tend to call them something different in film study on Monday afternoon. So
Motley sets up under Confer with Holland and Parlanti, I do believe, in the backfield. He stops for a quick throw to Joe Holland as he drives forward for about a gain of 8 yards. And it'll be about 5 yards. They moved up because of the penalty. So it'll be a gain of about 4 yards, and I do not believe he's got the first down.
The spot is very close, and they're going to measure. And I tell you what, from here it looks like he doesn't have it.
No.
I don't know.
It could be our angle.
Yeah, our angle's a little off, so it's a little hard to tell. There hasn't been any movement on the Mansfield sideline for a punt team, so we have to wait and see for the call.
Yeah, it looks like they're about a yard or two shy, guys.
Carl down on the field for us today.
And
it's about an inch.
I tell you what, Carl, I disagree with them going for it before, but I tell you what, with being about 6 inches short here, where you're at in territory being down, you got to kick it a run.
I think it's just a ridiculous call. You're going to go for a fourth and it was a 4th and 7. They went for your 4th and inches down. Now it's sending the offense back out.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I disagree with it before, and I'm a little skeptical whether or not you really want to take a chance here, but you're about 6 inches away. What do you really have to lose? And I'm being a little
optimistic, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I don't know what to think right now.
But what do you do here? They're looking for a short drop. They know you've got the big man Holland, number 44. He just looks enormous out there.
Backfield, and look who's in the backfield, a fullback.
You got
The big man.
They put Tyree Patterson in there.
And he got it.
And I think they're going to give it to him.
And I tell you what, Tyree looked like Ron Dane, don't you think, Carl?
Guys, that's the advantage of having such a huge backfield, guys. You got Dave Holland, and of course Tyree Patterson. Just huge play for the Mountaineers. Tyree Patterson is that defensive lineman that they bring in for special occasions, kind of like the fridge for the Bears. And it's just it was just so neat because he jumped up there like. Did you guys see his vertical? Like Peyton there, something over.
That looked like Dimitri Donald last night in the slam dunk contest.
As Motley brings his boys out under center with Holland and Parlanti in the backfield, Smith and Rarick to the left with Smith out to the right. He's going to fake a handoff. Good
nice
blocking in front of it. And it's complete to Rarick for a gain of about 6 yards. That was gorgeous.
That was a fabulous bootleg, and I guess it was Parlanti there on the block there on the outside.
Great blocking, and he's getting congratulated for it, and that's exactly what he needs.
It was pretty much a naked bootleg.
It was well executed by Motley. Great blocking down the field by the men in black. My boys, the front line, and Nick Parlanti, and a good pass and a good reception.
I mean, you call them your boys. I used to be a lineman, and I tell you what, I like the skill positions anymore.
Tell you what, as Motley sets under Confer, calls his cadence, drops back for a short pass, and he overthrows Steve Smith. Smith, one of the again this squad of Mansfield receivers, with the exception of Bennett, who's out for the rest of the season, and Klecko, they're kind of short.
I just it took Klecko out in that last play there. I tell you what, he can't tell you. I mean, he's a senior. He can catch the ball. You got to leave him in there.
And he's leading. You saw when he went out for that fourth down conversion, he's trying to pump the crowd up.
Mike is a very nice kid. We talked to him after the Westchester game. He's very enthusiastic about what's in the future for Mansfield. So, I mean, let's see for him.
Motley drops back to pass, throws way over the head of Klecko, and it's intercepted by number 24.
And we got a Mansfield player hurt down the field.
Barry.
And as soon as we get that one, and Steve, I think there was just a little miscommunication there between the receivers and Motley. But we have a timeout in the field. We're going to send it back to the station for a quick commercial, if we can call it that. So you listen to the Real Home for the Mountaineer Sports.
On Monday, October 23rd.
Welcome back to Van Norman Field. It seems as though Jake Briggs, the big left guard, has hurt his knee. He was practically shaking on the ground, as Carl let us know, and they were carrying him off the field. Just from now, after we'll ask Carl to get us a little report, but it looks like his knee.
Yeah, guys, he's coming off real gingerly, guys. They're carrying him off the field, like you said now, and we'll get an update as soon as possible.
And I tell you what, you hate to see an injury, especially a knee injury, because knee injuries are very hard to recover from and take a long time.
As we have to turn our attention to the football game, as Glaze, the tailback for Bloomsburg, bumbles forward for about a gain of 5 yards.
And down the sideline, I see Steve Sozella giving snaps to Travis Motley, so maybe they're going to move Brian Conifer over to fill the spot vacated by Briggs right now.
It's a possibility.
So
Briggs also back up to left tackle Aaron Fiacconi, so he will have some shoes to fill. As Miller sets underneath, hands off to Glaze, out to the right side. He fumbles the ball, but Bloomsburg covers it. That's a lost opportunity. Mansfield needs to capitalize on that.
Guys, that ball was on the ground for at least 4 or 5 seconds.
It was.
A lot of time.
And I tell you what, if you're a Mansfield defender, you're going to be kicking yourself right now. I mean, there was no one in front of anyone. You can pick that one up. You can take it back.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe some shakiness in the Bloomsburg. Now the defense, I think, needs to start going for that ball. As Miller brings out his offense with the eye back. Werner and Glaze sits underneath his big offensive line. Calls his cadence. Rolls left. He's pursued. Passes into the end zone, and it's complete for a touchdown to number 19, Tyrell Johnson.
Yeah, late flag, and I didn't see.
He might have been over the line of scrimmage. I don't know about that,
I think he might have been.
Mike Lord gave chase, chased him out of the pocket.
Illegal forward pass.
It is an illegal forward pass.
And there was separation there between number 19, Tyrell Johnson, and the defender for Mansfield. I mean, good separation, so the receiver did his job. And there was good pressure by the Mansfield defense.
Now, Mansfield got a second win now. Now they need to put pressure on. Mike Lord, great job. Broke into the backfield, gave chase. Chased Miller right out of the pocket. Miller doing a good job, but stepping over that line. I figured it. It looked like he had gone too far.
And Carl, you got something for us down there?
I was going to say, guys, it looks like he had entirely too much time to throw that ball.
Yeah.
He was dancing for a while.
And take a look at Jake Briggs down there on the sideline. I mean, they're working on the knee, and it looks pretty calm right now, so maybe it might not be as serious as we might originally have thought, but we'll try to get an update on that.
As Miller brings his boys out to the line, the lone setback, the fullback, Doug Warner. He'll hand off. Oh, he'll fake a handoff to Werner as he passes for the end zone, and it's incomplete.
Good block by number 73, Sean Fluso, excuse me.
Fluso.
6'5", 278-pounder. Block Jason Coleman. I mean, level Jason Coleman down there on that play. So
you've got Bloomsburg's offensive line is big, but I do believe, like you saw there, number 60, Ricky Woods, the outside linebacker, breaking into the backfield. I mean, they are getting Miller out of the outfield as
I believe Carl has an update for us on Jake Briggs.
Jake Briggs earlier this week had a problem, possibly a cartilage tear in his right knee, and they're talking about it right now, and it doesn't look like his return is it looks like that return's real questionable. We got a big play on the field here, guys.
All-American John Johnson just intercepted Miller in the end zone, brings it out to the 20, and the crowd's getting back into it, which is what we need, and hopefully the tides will be turning here a little bit. We are only down by 7, and this...
I tell you what, there were two Mansfield defenders fighting over it. And the thing is, when a player gets hurt, sometimes your team picks up your team's emotions a little bit.
Exactly.
And then a big play there might pick them up. Like we said, Bloomsburg is a very strong team. So, I mean, to hang in with Bloomsburg this early in the game, you got to keep hanging in there so you're around at the very end.
Motley and the offense need to capitalize here with the offense in the I formation. Loisel and Joe Holland in the backfield. Smith out to the left and Rarick to the right. Motley, quick drop, throws out to Rarick. Rarick rumbles for about 4 yards, 5 yards they're giving him. Great job by Rarick, driving his feet. That's the main thing. Rarick, not a big guy.
No,
driving his feet to get that the extra yardage.
He's not a big guy. Mansfield does miss Joe Bennett on the offensive side there. He's a big play receiver, big kid.
Unbelievable leaping ability, too.
Yeah. But don't forget, we got Tyree Patterson. He's got the big leaping ability.
Yeah, as we found out last time. As Motley brings his guys out, 3 wide left. Angel Baines out to the right, and Steve Smith. Motley underneath. Confer calls his cadence. Drops back another quick pass, and it's blocked. And they're going to call it an incomplete pass. That is scary, because if it is behind, this is another problem.
As soon as it's a tip ball, it doesn't matter where it goes behind the line of scrimmage. If it was a forward pass, it was tip line of scrimmage, and it hits the ground, it's a dead ball. Another thing is, the line's not really doing their job. They're not getting their hands. They're keeping the hands down. The way you do that is you come out and you fire real hard right in the guy's gut.
That's one of those that was one of those old high school rules. When the guy put his hands up and exposed his stomach, you put his helmet there and knock him down.
You put your helmet right in the gut and you bring the hands down real fast.
As Hudak, Rarick, Klecko, Holland line up to the left and Smith way wide to the right. Motley calling a good one, almost drawing the defense across. He's going to pass across the middle, and Rarick over his head. Rarick looked like he could have got a hand on that, but just lost the last minute as the punt team comes in.
Motley's been off, but Chris Hudak on the left side here looked like he was uncovered. I don't know, Carl, if that looks like to you if he was uncovered, but it looked like from here he was uncovered.
Hudak was wide open here in the flat, and he came out, and I got a question. Motley's pass went through 2 Bloomsburg defenders before it even met a member from our Mountaineer squad. So
that so much comes with the the rookie, I guess you could say. Many times he's missed wide open passers as the punt by John Johnson is almost blocked. And it is taken by number 24, bringing it back for Bloomsburg to about the 45-yard line.
All-American does it all, doesn't he, fellas?
Yeah, how about
and I tell you what, Steve said that punt was almost blocked there, but it looked pretty clean from here. And in fact, it was a fabulous escape. The ball turned over like it normally does. I mean, there were a couple guys pressuring.
Pursue. I didn't mean actually block.
I know. I'm joking with you, buddy. And
but once again, we've got
low getting up, and I believe that's Conway Brown, correct, Carl?
Yes, JR, that is Conway Brown, and he's looks like he's favoring maybe his ribs from where I'm standing, and he's just getting up now. And here comes it.
1 year that they didn't, and the year before they won it. But no team has won 3 in a row since the A's in the mid-'70s.
And I mean, you're looking at a Mets team that's young, and they got a lot of talent, and so do the Yankees. I think it's going to be a great series, and that kicks off tonight. Ain't that right, Steve?
Yeah, that's right. I'll be watching it.
Hey, and I tell you what, I got to support the hometown boy on the New York Mets there, though, Steve. Mr. Mike Piazza. He's a great player. So I mean,
Here we go. Let me tell you a little something. No, I'm not. You know, there's a football game going on.
But we had to fill a little time there, so Mets in 7.
Yeah, as Miller sets underneath the Yankee sweep, Miller drops back to pass, and he's almost brought down. He wiggles out of the pocket, and he's going to run for about a gain of 7 yards. That's the place where Mansfield can't let that go. I mean, 2 guys had him in his hands.
Josh Frick was slow to get up on that play there, and I don't know if he was slow to get up because he just tripped or if he just got to take a little clip. Carl?
Steve, JR, both of those guys, Frick and Coleman, both had their hands on the quarterback. You can't let him run away when you have him in your grasp there.
Absolutely.
As soon as we get an update on number 2. Carl, can you get an update on the latest injury for Mansfield?
Yeah, we're going to go check out what's going on with Conway Brown.
Miller lines it up with McLaughlin and looks to be Glaze, or I do believe they have their second string running backs in there. But Dan Holland in on the stop for the Mansfield Mountaineers. Dan Holland being one heck of a defensive player. Down to Carl.
All right, guys, Conway Brown, it looks like he may have sprained that ankle. And again, an injury that's been plaguing him all year. Looks like he twisted it up. The trainer's going to try to get some tape on it from what I understand. And it looks like we're going to see Conway Brown again this game.
Miller drops back to pass and fires to his tight end, Lelko. Lelko getting some work. It throws me off that he's a tight end because he has number 8, so stereotypical of a wide receiver. But
some tight ends do get
the thing is, he's shorter.
Exactly, he's stocky.
He's about 5'10", 186, and he's a tight end, but he caught the first touchdown pass. He's not doing too shabby today.
And a tight end who splits out wide here on the far side, so more like a split end type, not a real tight end.
As Miller brings out his offense with McLaughlin in the eye, hands off to number 38. Well, I don't have him like too deep. And I'm assuming that's Solomon Nelson.
Yes, I believe it is too. 5'7", 209-pounder. So I tell you what.
You know, there's Bloomsburg putting in fresh legs. You know,
and we mentioned that. I mean, when you're building your program back up, you're not going to have the talent. So I know for a fact Millersville's got a humongous team. So does Kutztown. Bloomsburg's getting back up there in numbers-wise.
Miller hands off to Nelson, who rumbles for about 10 yards for the first down for Bloomsburg. You know, Bloomsburg executing. They're running all different aspects. The first play was a long pass, running to the right, up the middle, to the left. I mean, they're giving everything they have to Mansfield Mountaineers.
And, Steve, this isn't something new to the Mountaineers. I mean, they've been susceptible to the run every game I've seen this year.
Exactly.
So they got to do something here, JR and Steve.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a reminder, if everyone wants to pick up the copy of the program during the stands listening, nice little article on Josh Frick in there and about the the recruiting-wise the recruiting things that he went through between the Florida schools and Pennsylvania schools, might be surprised on what made his decision.
As the handoff to Nelson, he is stuffed and brought down by the big man, Dan Holland. He's the big middle linebacker from Mansfield. He just has unbelievable production in there. He's got an unbelievable ability to see the play, to get there, to make the tackle, to make the sack.
Exactly, and with 3:05 left, being down only 7-0 to Bloomsburg, it's not too shabby.
Not too bad at all. Second down and about 11. Miller sits underneath center, drops back to pass. Mansfield on the rush. It's complete to number 19, Tyrell Johnson. And he gained about 5 yards in the play, making it about 3rd and 5. Mansfield making a stand. Mansfield saying, hey, we're here, we're playing, we're doing good. They're only down by 7 at the end of the first quarter. I guarantee you that was not predicted. And you think about it, as Carl said before, we're going to see if that fake punt burns us, and it is. If they go into the second quarter 7-0, they don't score here, it burned them.
And, I mean, we were saying about numbers. Look at the Bloomsburg sideline. They got at least 20 guys standing there wanting to get in this game, and the defense is at the other end. So the numbers are big for Bloom.
Miller drops back to pass. Passes to Lelko, who drops the pass.
As one quick note, first of all, if he catches that, that's 6.
Yeah.
Mansfield catch another break. A quick note on Conway Brown. It seems as if his toe is also being taped. It seems like blistering has been a problem for Conway Brown here early in the season, so a lot of tape being put on that toe and also that ankle right now, but we will see his return.
And I tell you what, we saw it earlier in the year. Mansfield getting great pressure off the ends here on field goals and punt. Hopefully we'll see it here and get another block.
As Chris Thompson, the junior, 5'9", 180 pounds, who was kicking phenomenally in there as Mansfield loads up the line. You can tell they're smelling block right now. And they bring it hard. And it is blocked! It is blocked, I tell you what.
Steve, they did that earlier in the year. They load up on one side, they bring the whole house, and they get it every time.
Beautifully. You know what I think it was? I think it was Tyree Patterson on that block.
Tyree Patterson and Tyson Figueroa, a big bookend to that defense.
I tell you what, Carl, if you're Bloomsburg, you're gonna say to your kicker and your holder, you guys can't see that they're loading up on the side. You got to be a little angry at the holder. Yeah, you have to call timeout there if you're the holder because it's the way it was loaded up.
Mansfield's coming alive right now.
And the crowd's pumped up. I tell you what, another big key play for Mansfield.
The lone step back, Holland. 2 wide left, 1 wide right. He steps back, almost sacked. It's a middle screen to Chris Hudak.
And it only picks up about 1 or 2 yards, so.
Still at the gain. At this point, it's like, hey, it's 7-0. 2 huge plays. The interception by John Johnson. The block by Tyree Patterson with the help from Figueroa, and just an unbelievable set of plays here.
Mansfield's leading rusher on the afternoon is Tyree Patterson. 1 carry for 2 yards right now. Mansfield only has 3 rushes, though, in the afternoon. But to see Tyree Patterson leading the all backs with the rushes is fabulous.
It kind of is a little humorous. But
especially if you're an old lineman, you like to see the lineman show the tacks how it's done.
Motley hands off to Holland, who's going to cut back up in the inside. There's going to be a flag. I do believe that will be holding.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Steve. That's in the vicinity of holding. It looks like big number 62 had his hands all over his defender.
That'll be number 62, Gary Arend, right tackle, who was redshirted last year, who just blew up. He was enormous. He was a little smaller last year, and he just got really big this year.
And that's a part of that all-season conditioning program that Coach Gilbert and his staff had. And I tell you what, come next year, I think you're going to see another of the guys are going to get bigger, stronger, faster, and I tell you what, they're only going to get better. And it doesn't take 1 year, it takes a couple of years. I keep telling people it's not a 1 year thing, it's not a 2 year thing, it's 3, 4, 5 years. You look at some of these Division I programs that get on probation, like Miami of Florida, for instance, they got put on probation 5 years ago. They're finally back to where they were right when they were put on probation. They're in the top 5, and it takes a long time to rebuild a program, especially if you can't release scholarship and another problem that might occur during the recruiting process.
Exactly, as Motley sets up his offense with Hudak and Steve Smith to the left, Angel Baines to the right, Joe Holland, And there's movement, I do believe, on the offense, as you see a lot of fingers pointing from the defense.
And the penalties are now starting to kill Mansfield. They block a kick. They got a nice little reception on the first play on the scrimmage there. And then they had 2 consecutive penalties. But the good thing about the holding call was it's from the spot of the foul and not like the foul was downfield a little more.
Right. As we're trying to, it is holding, and it'll be about 2nd and 22.
Well, that one there was a false start on Mansfield. And plus the game clock there was getting down to about 2 seconds, so Mansfield had to hurry it up.
They're going to take the same setup with Hudak and Smith to the left, Motley under Conford. Hands off to Holland. It's a trap. Great blocking by Smith. And he'll break for about 8 yards.
Took a good hit, and that's Nick Parlanti, I believe, number 35.
Yep.
And Motley and the crew are taking a lot of time when they get up to the line of scrimmage, taking a lot of time off the clock, letting the clock run down. That's fine and everything when the game clock's move, but not when the play clock's the only thing moving there.
Right. I think you got to give credit on Steve Smith for giving Holland those 3 extra yards he got, because he come flying across the field from the left flank there and just leveled the middle linebacker to give Holland those extra 3 yards.
And Steve, at the end of the first quarter, Mansfield's trailing Bloomsburg 7-0. We're going to send it back to the station real quick for a station identification. You're listening to the Giant 89.5 WNTE, the real home for Mountaineer sports.
The official voice. A message from the Department of Transportation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Carl Van Norman Field here at Mansfield University in Mansfield, PA, in the heart of Tioga County, as the Mansfield Mountaineers begin the second quarter, only down by a touchdown and showing a lot of strength in this ball game, blocking a kick. Once again, as Carl said before, and I'll agree with him, getting burnt on that fake punt, possibly on a 4-play touchdown after the failed fake punt from...
Looks like Conway Brown's ready to return the game. He's tying his shoes up. And Mansfield gets back on the offensive side of the football.
Parlanti and Holland in the backfield in the I formation. Motley drops back to pass. He's going to roll. He's got Hudak in the flat, and he overthrows him.
And Motley did a good job there. He rolled out. He tried to give his receiver as much time as possible. Earlier in the year, he was getting...
Charles Motley's limping off the field now. Looks like looks like his left leg bent back a little bit. The defender brought it in on him.
All right, Carl, I'll let you get an update on that. And another thing on Mansfield is they're near a lot of penalties for intentional grounding. Motley did a good job there, but we got to be a little worried about Travis right now.
As John Johnson, the All-American and all-usage player today, kicks back for a punt.
Good kick, and he had the wind behind it.
60-yard punt from the 1. Smith almost pulls him down with about a 1-yard gain. I give that.
There should have been a clip back here on the 50-yard line. The what they call the blocker guys out there on the side.
I'm taking a second here to talk up Steve Smith. Down there, the first one down there. The first one to give the guy.
He's what they call the flyer.
He's that utility player that Mansfield uses so effectively, but he gets such little recognition for.
Guys, did you see that punt, guys?
That was beautiful.
It's 2 in a row by that All-American John Johnson. This kid is just an all-around great player.
I tell you what, I mean, you think about it right now, Carl, we got the wind blowing from the locker room area down towards down Route 6 towards the softball field. Come the fourth quarter, that could play a key in the kicking game.
As Miller hands off to Nelson. Nelson rumbles forward for about a gain of 9. This is it, yeah. I can't tell who, what number it was. I do believe it was Coleman. Almost had him wrapped up in the backfield. He needs to make that play. I'm not positive on that one. There's a Mansfield defender in the backfield about to wrap him up and pull him down. And we're getting a lot of wind up here, folks. Buzzing noises.
First quarter statistics for both teams. First down 5-3 for Bloom. You have a rushing yards, big difference, 9 carries, 36, 5 to 7 for Mansfield. 65 yards passing for Bloom, 7 to 4, 1 interception. Mansfield 7 for 17, 1 interception, 45 yards. We'll get back to that in a second.
Miller hands off to Nelson, who rumbles forward for another gain of about 8 yards.
At time possession, 7:34 for Bloom, 7:26 for Mansfield University. And Steve is checking up on something for us. Carl down on the sidelines. Carl, is there any update on Travis Motley?
Motley was able to come off on his own support. Didn't need any help. Looks like it just took a little stinger. Looks like he's just going to try to walk it off. We'll see her within the next series.
I have a correction on the number 38. Number 38 for the Bloomsburg Huskies is Aristine Henry. He was not on my too deep roster. That's why I didn't say that before. But he's been rumbling over the Mansfield defense right now, taking them from the 50-yard line all the way down to Mansfield's 12.
Looking at Travis on the sideline, he's walking around. He didn't really get any attention from the trainers or anything, so I believe he is okay.
Yeah, that was just a little stinger, JR.
All right. As Miller hands off to, I do believe that is number 12, Glaze, and he's got 6. Rolls around the left side. Mansfield caught kind of off guard, not in their lanes, as John Johnson gets up limping now. But he seems to be okay, not coming off the field. And the score is now 13-0 in favor of the Huskies.
And right there was a good side, nice little run off left tackle and paid off for Bloom. And Mansfield's still in the game here. It's early. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Mansfield just needs to capitalize right now on their big chances. They get big chances and then they don't capitalize. As number 4, Chris Thompson will kick the point after, and it is good.
We're going to send it back to the
county as the Bloomsburg Huskies, after a touchdown run from their starting tailback number 12, Marquise Glaze, they will be kicking off to Steve Smith and Angel Baines, being the backmen for the Mansfield Mountaineers. The Bloomsburg Huskies pretty hot right now, I guess. They're all button heads, getting ready to for the kickoff.
That drive was 4 plays, 50 yards in a minute 43.
Zach Quigley's kick is not a good one.
Not the 35.
Goes out of bounds around the 23-yard line, and that will come out to the 35-yard line, giving Mansfield some of the best field position they've had.
I tell you what, when Mansfield turned the ball over twice, gave the ball over twice at the 50-yard line, once on a failed fourth down conversion attempt, another one after a punt. Both times resulted in 8 plays for about 100 yards in about 3 minutes for touchdowns for Bloom.
Right.
Time of possession's about even. Mansfield didn't. They keep the field was Bloom have to drive long. Bloom's having trouble today going for long drives.
As the Mansfield Mountaineers, the men in black, and Travis Motley come out to start an offensive drive here. Motley under Confer. He'll drop back to pass. He's going to pass to Angel Baines, complete for about 6 yards. Good execution there by Motley. Good catch by Baines. But once again, you can't spoil this too much. You can't keep using that tactic over and over, or else the defense catches on.
We believe that Carl Madonna, he's going to try to get an interview with former Mansfield University athlete, football player extraordinaire, someone he can that he knows and will and I don't know what he's doing back here. Carl will let us know on that in a little bit.
As Motley with Roscoe in as the lone setback, Angel Baines and Smith to the right. Hudak to the left. He'll hand off to Roscoe, who blows around the outside and gains about 10 yards. Gets to the 50-yard line. I tell you what, maybe Jason Roscoe got a little head of steam there because he was out.
You know, discipline, I tell you, it was, and we got another injury, and I believe it's number 7, Chris Hudak, on the block there.
Man to himself. Well put. John Atkins, thank you very much. enjoy the rest of the game. Thank you.
All right, and Carl, as soon as you can you find what's wrong with Chris Hudak? Limping off the field with assistance from the trainers, and I tell you what, they were checking out his right leg, and it looks like his left leg now. He's dragging both of them, so it's hard to tell. I mean, he's confusing me. And, I know he sat out a little bit last year due to an injury. In fact, caused him to possibly lose his quarterback in the slot last year. And
Hudak, obviously, again, one of those utility players that Mansfield utilizes so much. And, him being a quarterback, knowing the routes, knowing the pass, just knowing how to be a receiver pretty much from being a quarterback, thinking he could benefit from it and thinking Mansfield could benefit from it, but being injured on the last play.
It looks like it's a foot that is bothering him. They already have the shoe off. Maybe that's why he was dragging his feet across the field.
Mansfield and Motley Crue and his men in black with the blitz on, passes out to Roscoe, who gains about 3 to 4 yards. Roscoe not doing too bad of a job. Like I said before, possibly a little upset because he, for disciplinary reasons, being out in the first quarter, coming back with a full head of steam. I know here comes Joe Holland possibly coming in. Yes, he is coming in for Roscoe, so Coach Joe Gilbert will keep that on rotation there.
I really hate to speculate, but I know Jason Roscoe was at Mountain Madness last night, and Coach Gilbert has strict rules the night before games and about curfews and stuff, so we can't really speculate, and we'll try to find out. And Carl's going to have an injury update for us right after this play.
As Motley drops back to pass, and the pass is knocked down again with those quick out passes. He didn't get it over the defender's head. It looks like he might have actually hit a defender in the shoulder. Carl, you got anything for us down there?
JR and Steve, it looks like Chris Hudak has a high ankle sprain. He's in a lot of pain right now on the sideline. Again, it's from what we understand so far, his return is questionable. He's really favoring that ankle. It's a high ankle sprain, and as you know, JR, it's tough to play when your ankles aren't working for you.
And what's funny is, like, you never really heard of high ankle sprains until recently, until like the past couple of years, and it seems like everyone's getting them now.
The year 2G brings a lot.
Yep.
As Molly brings out his offense with the I formation, Losal and Holland in the backfield.
Blitz off the corner.
He fakes. He averts the blitz as I can't talk, and the pass intended for Rarick, a diving attempt, and it hits him in the chest and falls out.
When he hit the ground, so
sprinting down the field, wanting, I'm assuming, the ball popping out by contact call. I don't think he's.
Well, when he hit the ground, the ball popped out, and it's not his fault. And I believe Holland down there is getting some words of coaching from Coach Gilbert.
As Mansfield will punt again, this being...
And to put them deep, and here they gotta punt the football. They cannot go for it. They cannot risk what they risked in the first quarter.
Especially with Johnson punting as well as he is. He'll probably get him inside the 10-yard line.
All of your Flyers get down there and stop it. Good punt, good punt.
Downfield, inside the 20. And number 24.
And I actually think that was a poor decision by number 24.
Berry
there. It was let the ball bounce there. Get away from it. You don't want to take a chance to fumble that deep in your own end. So
I'm sure he'll get that little word of encouragement.
You see it all the time in the pros. I mean, I hate that more than anything. These guys, they want to see their name in the paper by returning a punt.
Yeah.
Let the ball go. Let it roll. Hopefully get the ball to the 20-yard line as the ball rolls into the end zone. In fact, they do have the ball in the 20, so what a coincidence.
As Miller sets up his Huskies offense on the 20-yard line, he'll roll left, looking for Lelko, and it's complete at the 30-yard line. And I do believe that will give him the first down. They are giving him the second down.
Lelko has 3 receptions for 59 yards along the 37, 1 touchdown. And leading rusher for Bloomsburg is Artiste Hayes, Henry, I believe it is. 7 for 49 with 1 touchdown. So
that's Aristine.
It's hard to read off the monitor. I'm relying on technology to help me out here today.
I think we have a commercial break on the field. Oh, there they go. As Miller sets up his Bloomsburg offense with the I formation, Glaze Glaze takes the ball and will rumble over boys for about a gain of a yard.
J.R. Steve, I just spoke with Chris and Jake Briggs. Hudak telling me that he's a little shaken up. He said he heard something pop. He's not exactly sure what it was, and Briggs still keeping ice on that knee. Both of those returns questionable. I'll keep you updated.
All right, thank you very much, sir.
Just from past experiences, popping is never good in the joint area.
Yeah, a lot of times the popping is a tendon popping off or a ligament. We don't want to really speculate. You never know. I mean, the popping might have been the helmet somewhere else in the field.
Hopefully Hudak will be okay. Miller underneath center, drops back, rolls left, looking for number 19, Johnson, as it's it's knocked down by Derek Hayes, number 22, who almost had the reception that John Johnson had earlier in the game. He was also around that interception pass. Derek Hayes being another one of those quick men on the feet, just very observant, always ready. Has good reflexes out there as a safety, strong safety.
And Victor, I see Victor Days in there. I wasn't really paying attention the first quarter. I know that he did not start. We just don't know if there was Jordan Smith was a little had a better week or not.
Oh, as Mansfield catches a huge break, Miller drops back and passes to number 80, Rocco Forgione, who was wide open. There wasn't a guy within 5 yards, and he drops it. Once again, lucky breaks from Mansfield that they're not capitalizing on. It's 14-0. There's 2 quarters and 9 minutes and 35 seconds to play.
I'd like to see Mansfield getting pressure on the left side again here. Maybe they can get for a block again.
Mansfield brings it in, and it's blocked. It's blocked by Mansfield. And Frick, number 41, Josh Frick, will take it over at the 15-yard line on Bloomsburg.
A lot of pushing at the play. Mansfield's got to get away from the pushing there.
Exactly. And you know what? You can see them doing that right now, pulling each other away. They've got it. They
got themselves in a great spot.
This is a must situation. Carl, what do you think here?
Guys, with that, the whole crowd and everyone down here on the sideline has just erupted. Exactly what Mansfield needed, JR and Steve.
Exactly.
You got to put it in the end zone right now. You can't have a blown opportunity, although O'Donnell has been an excellent field goal kicker as of so far.
This is a must situation. They have to get 7 here, especially going
4 wide to the right, 1 wide to the left.
He's going to pass, isn't he? As Roscoe's in there.
You think?
As Roscoe's in part of the 4 wide right with Conway, Brown, Steve Smith, and Rarick. It's a short pass over to Angel Baines, who goes up to about the 10 to 9 yard line. It's hard to tell from this angle. Looks as though it's a first down.
We have a tendency to call that in the full insider area of football a stop and go.
As you're calling for this game.
And by the way, that's 2 that I've called so far there. And I called 2 earlier in the year, so.
Mansfield is on fire. They're on fire right now. They need to get 7 here to continue this run.
I tell you what, Coach Gilbert needs to take his special teams coach out for a nice big steak dinner tonight.
Exactly. We could go.
Yeah, maybe we can go too.
Steve and JR, like you guys were saying earlier, as that wind picks up, it's beginning to become a problem down here on the field. Wind gusts, you got to be picking up down here on the field, and like you said, that may play a factor late in the game.
Especially if Mansfield keeps it tight. Kicking in has been suspect all year for Mansfield, and right now, if you're Bloomsburg, you got to be saying, what's going on?
Exactly. Bloomsburg, this nationally. You know, that may be one of those, Cinderella underdog stories where, here
you
comes
always play up to your opponent or play down to your opponent.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not taking away from anything from Mansfield, but you do tend to play down to your opponent early in the game. Then you get a wake-up call at halftime.
Just an announcement. Tyree Patterson is in the game, and they loaded the defense and shut him down.
And I believe that will put him second in the team now in rushing on the afternoon.
I do. They give him the first down on the 10-yard line.
See,
so
he now has 4 yards on the afternoon.
Mansfield first and goal from about the 9.5-yard line. They got 4 plays. They got to get 10.
And JR and Steve, this is what they got to do, like Westchester did with Mulcher. We have big bruising backs in our backfield. We got to keep putting the ball in their hands and wear down this defense early and often. Excellent call by Gilbert in the offense.
I tell you what, you look at the board of trustees and the president in front of the vice president. They're on their feet. They're trying to lead an example for the crowd. They're trying to get them excited, especially if Mansfield scores here.
Motley hands off to Joe Holland, who is pulled down from behind by his ankles, as Mansfield is going to get a second shot to go 10, and he's actually lost about a yard on that play.
And we were talking earlier in the game, Mansfield was abandoning the running game a little bit. I wanted to go to the pass right here. I want to see a quick slant over the middle, quick tight end slant.
I think
to Mike Klecko.
Yeah. I was just about to say the big K word, Klecko. You need to have him in right now. You've got.
And he's split. He's not even on the field right now. I don't see him.
The problem is he's not on the field.
Exactly. I just said that, Carl.
Eric Baines out to the right. Motley drops back. They bring everybody. It's a screen. Baines. He's going to
be for 6.
And he's got the touchdown. Beautifully executed.
No flag. No flag.
Looked like a big-time rush. Motley composes himself in the pocket, looks the rush in the face, completes to Baines.
And Mansfield's going to go for 1 here. Good decision by Coach Gilbert.
Exactly.
Go for 1. Go for 1.
Keep it conservative right now. It's only the second quarter. Obviously, we've made some points here.
And they're in the game. You got to be very positive. And there's a lot of people here to stay through it. Parents Day, you always want to look good in front of the kids' parents.
JR and Steve, also real quick, the reason why I'm saying that was a great play, of course, great call by Gilbert in the offense, but why don't you have Klecko in on a big third down? He's a huge tight end, maybe your leading receiver. Why isn't he in on 3rd and 4th down conversions?
Exactly.
Hey, Carl, I might want to
This is when it comes to the special teams. How unbelievable has Mansfield's special teams been? Well, I think they need to continue on this route. So many times we've seen it, where a team gets all hyped up, and they kick off, and then the opposing team gets a big return. Number 80 for Bloomsburg, Rocco Forgoin. I can't pronounce that word. Forgoin is in the...
Wind has returned.
Gentlemen, the wind is getting really down here on the field. We may have to bring in a placeholder. We'll see.
As Mansfield sets up to kick off, number 3. Tom O'Donnell kicks off deep, and it'll go into the out of the end zone. Beautiful kick by Tom O'Donnell.
And I tell you what, the wind played a factor there. I mean, no offense to Tom O'Donnell, but it's a fabulous kick. But the wind's blowing, what they say, north to south on the football field, and blew the ball right into the end zone. Fabulous kick.
Beautiful kick by Tom O'Donnell. They need to continue this trend.
Big defensive stop here with 7 minutes 40 seconds left. Get a stop here, get the ball back.
Bloomsburg
and
cannot
get some more points
here.
on the board.
Gentlemen, how about this kicking game so far this afternoon?
Great job.
I mean, and President Hall says that he's joking around. He knows that they're in this one, and especially when you like to throw those little jobs in the other presidents of the schools.
Getting into this is Miller. Hands off to Henry. Henry bumbles forward for 5. Henry has been running over this Mansfield defense. What Mansfield needs to do, I think, is just to make sure that he...
another quarterback in an orange jacket, Mike Schrader, just threw the ball in one side of the field to the other in the far end zone. So basketball doesn't work out for him.
He needs to keep working on basketball.
We understand, gentlemen, he's 3rd string today.
He still has 4 years eligibility in football.
As Miller drops back, rolls left, he's going to pass it out, and it's a drop pass by Henry. He's overthrown, and it just seems that maybe Bloomsburg is getting to be pushed back on their heels and saying, whoa, we didn't get what we expected. And, just from showing that after the failed 4th down conversion from the fake punt, they drove down the field in 4 plays and scored. It looked like they were like, hey, we've got this licked. Mansfield comes back, and they're only up by a touchdown. So, and Mansfield's holding them pretty good.
Third and long here. So, your defensive backs, they got to do their job. They got to keep the coverage tight, and your defensive line, they got to get the pressure fast.
As Miller drops back to pass, he's looking for Johnson. No, he's almost sacked. He's flushed out of the pocket and pushed out of bounds right about the line of scrimmage.
And I tell you what, 4th down here, watch the pressure on the line of scrimmage here on this upcoming punt. You're going to see him overload the one side, and the pressure's going to come up the middle.
You could see on that last play, Josh Frick and Mike Lord staying home. What they're told to do, they stayed home, and as Miller rolled out to the right, they were there to prevent him from running, from scrambling, getting it down. I give credit to them on that play.
If I was Bloomsburg here, I'd go to a silent count to throw off the pressure. But they're loaded up to the left side.
Again. They're bringing it all again. And it gets away. It's a bad short punt.
If you're
It's
Mansfield,
around
get
the
away from
50-yard line. Beautiful field position for Mansfield. It's around the 48-yard line of their own.
For Mansfield, you got a long, sustained drive, and a quick timeout in the field. We're going to send it back to the station real fast. First station, little thing that we do. Just John 89.5 WNTE.
The official voice of the Mansfield University Mountaineers. This is WNTE FM Mansfield.
The Girl Scouts and the Seven Lakes Council have begun their annual cookie program. During this program, the girls taste success as they learn many skills, including goal setting, problem solving, leadership, money management, and how to be team players. This program supports their activities throughout the year. The girls will be taking orders.
Welcome back to Carl Van Norman Field as Mansfield Mountaineers takes the field at about the 48-yard line. Right, great field position as Motley's last play was an overthrown pass to Angel Baines for a loss of down. It'll be second down and 10. Mansfield, once again, I'm going to put another must on them. They must score here. They have to score before the half.
They got to move the football here. They got to move the football and get some more positives.
They're doing a good job on the field offensively so far. Special teams made this game so far. I mean, right now, if they don't have special teams, they don't have a game.
Right now, total offense for Mansfield still under 100 yards for the half, so they got to move the football.
Motley hands off to Roscoe, who goes up the middle for a gain of about 5 yards, crossing the 50-yard line into Husky territory. It'll be third down and 5.
Gentlemen, this has been a problem, JR and Steve. I believe maybe Bloomsburg is taking this game a little too nonchalantly. They've come into Mansfield the past 10 years and done basically whatever they want with the Mountaineers, and I think maybe it may come back and bite them today. The Mountaineers are pumped up.
In fact, they have a 7-year winning streak against Mansfield and a 44-28-4 lifetime record against MU. If you're, like I said earlier, when you're a better team, you tend to play down your opponent.
You can't take a team that has nothing to lose for granted.
Exactly.
Motley fakes the handoff to Jason Roscoe. Here comes the rush. He's going to pass out to Steve Smith, who makes the completion. And it'll be a gain of about 4 yards.
Coach Gilbert's trying to, come on, give me the first down.
He's about short. It looks as though the spot is short about a yard.
About a yard, and I tell you what, go for it.
I don't see Tyree Patterson going in yet. And
might be a little long for Tyree to go, but
they are keeping him. They are keeping the offense on the field as Motley goes out, calls
Jason Roscoe off the left end, off the end. I've got to do a run play here off the end.
Roscoe in the lone setback. Baines and Rarick to the right. Smith and Conway Brown to the left. They hand off to Roscoe, who goes forward.
And we got a penalty flag on the play. I don't know. It was hard to tell. I didn't really see him. I don't know if there was movement or what, but it's going to stop the clock. And if it's on,
we're going to see. But they got the first down on that guarantee. Good job by Roscoe.
Mansfield first down.
Great job. I tell you what, Mansfield's been getting some good breaks, but they've also been playing some good football. Jason Roscoe, to his credit, been running very well since he's come in the second quarter, and he's doing a great job. Just got the first down for the Mountaineers, and along with the penalty, we'll get an even better field position, which it will be to the 39-yard line of the Huskies. As now, I said before, it was the Mansfield Mountaineers with their hands on their hips, their heads hanging low. Now it's the Huskies, and Mansfield is in this, and the crowd is into it too. As
maybe last week playing Millersville, being ranked as high as they are, and maybe it pumped Mansfield up and say, hey, someday we're going to be in that position.
Exactly. They have a long road to go, and I think they'll get there. As Motley drops back with a short pass to Klecko.
Again. Very close.
Klecko, usually sure-handed, was thrown up above and led him a little too much and missed the pass.
Guys, that may have been a blessing that he didn't catch that ball. He may have hung Klecko out to dry there.
Yeah. Well, the thing was he had to get rid of the ball real fast. They were bringing everyone on a blitz. Corners were coming. I tell you what, it looked like the corner on this left side here on the near side to us looked like he had jumped all sides. I don't know, and it's hard to say. I mean, we can't sound like we're too much of a homer here.
In the I formation, it's Roscoe and I always forget his name. Loisel, I can't pronounce his name. Loisel.
And once again, a blitz again.
And they'll fake. And Motley's going to run it. And he's going to get
oh, man. No Number 10 for
Grachowski. Scott Grachowski.
Absolutely leveled someone on the near sideline.
Pretty much said, enough said, excuse me, and
oh, man.
introduced the ground to him.
I tell you what, Carl, you're down there on the field. You probably can hear that down where you're at.
I love that kind of football, fellas. Smash mouth football is always the best, but I'm liking what I'm also seeing out of Travis Motley here. This is 2 in a row where he didn't force the ball down the field, held on, and went and picked up some extra yards.
That's right.
Good point,
Possibly
Carl.
maturing right here in front of us, guys.
Exactly, and I tell you what, you got to love that hit, that pump shot, especially in front of your own sideline. It makes everyone want to get out there and do their own kind of hits.
Mansfield calling a timeout, and there's a flag on the play.
I tell you what, man, I tell you what,
I don't know what
Motley
the call
turned
is.
around and called for the timeout. As soon as he did, referee threw the flag, and I tell you what, I disagree with the penalty right off the bat.
It's going to be too many men on the field.
And I tell you, I disagree with the penalty because Motley tried to get the timeout. And I tell you what, the crowd is very displeased, and Coach Joe Gilbert down the sideline is furious. You have to give you have to give the kid time to call the timeout before you throw the flag.
Exactly.
As a poor call in the officials, we've seen it all year long. The officials are making poor calls.
The only time they can call that is when they snap the ball.
JR and Steve, part of my ignorance.
And now they take the timeout.
They did take the timeout away.
They gave Mansfield the timeout now, and I tell you what.
So, gentlemen, that penalty was assessed as well?
Yes, it was.
And the timeout was also taken.
I do believe
so.
Yeah.
Horrible, horrible call.
As Mansfield's going to have to bounce back and not let it take as they hand off to Roscoe, who goes up the middle for about a gain of 3, and he's bent backwards.
I tell you what, another thing there, the timeout there, it might have been a blessing in disguise. It calmed him down. Motley was a little upset there, and you got to go for it here. Got to put it right. You got to throw it right in. You got to throw the dagger into the heart of the Huskies.
As we have about 4th and 2.5 yards, it's kind of interesting to see.
4:11 left in the game in the half, Steve.
He's got 4 wide. Smith and Conway to the left. Conway Brown, I call him by his first name. Rarick and Baines to the right, with Parlanti the lone setback. Parlanti a blocking fullback, and he overthrew Steve Smith by about 2 yards.
And I tell you what, he didn't overthrow him. The ball went right through the hands of Steve Smith. Steve Smith had his hands out, and the ball went right in between them. Now, Steve, we've been saying that Steve Smith's an unsung hero. I mean, you got to catch them when they're right there in front of you.
JR, even if Smith does pull down with that, there were 2 Bloomsburg defenders just waiting there. Yeah, so, I mean, I got to question the call once again.
I think on a play like that, if you're going to go for 4th, you go up the middle or down the field.
It's a quick what they call a swing out pass there, out in the flat. It's trying to get some separation on the sideline. He just Molly made a bad decision on who he threw it to, but I mean, you got to catch that football.
Mansfield's defense got 3:55 to hold him as Miller hands off to Henry. Henry bounces out to the outside on the right and is pulled down with a gain of about 4 yards.
Fumble on the field.
It looks like the ball is loose, but the play was whistled dead. Carl?
I was going to say there, fumble. It looks like number 20, Ian Cooper, is a little shaken up. And my question on that last play is 4th and 2.5. You have a 300-pound fullback. Why isn't he not getting the ball?
Exactly. It's difficult to understand. If you put Tyree Patterson, maybe the thought is that since you have 2.5 yards, and the last 2 times he converted, he only needed to get about a half a yard, and he barely got that. I think maybe that was the concern, that Tyree may not have been able to pull off the 2.5 yards.
But another thing is, guys, you can't constantly use Tyree Patterson on the 4th and short, because they're going to be looking for it, and they're going to be keying on him. So you got to work other things. And hey, it's a learning process for everyone.
Miller, 3 wide to the left. He's going to, it looks like he's going to fake. He hands it off to Glaze, who bumbles forward for the first down around the 42-yard line. Not a bad, it's like
Tyson Figueroa is pounding himself in the helmet there because he's running downfield, and he gets well in the back by the tailback.
As Miller sets up with the I formation. Miller underneath center with Glaze in the backfield. He'll get the call, and he'll go right up the middle for a gain of about 5 yards.
I'll tell you what, and I think Bloomsburg here is just going to use the clock to their advantage. I think they're just going to try to run the clock out and try to get out of here.
That's something that they need to do. I think they're surprised. I
think
really do.
Right now their tails between their legs, and they're trying to get out of this half with only up 7.
Well, interesting. They're also in the hurry-up offense. Why is that?
I don't really understand why they're in the hurry-up offense and running the football. It's kind of contradicting yourself there. You run the football to run out the clock, but you're using your hurry-up offense. It doesn't really make any sense.
I think as of late, since they've been missing passes, there have been a lot of drop passes, possibly the run has been effective, so they hurry up offense with the run so they can waste time and get a touchdown before the clock runs out when it's only 2 minutes to go.
They have had 6 drop passes. That's a big key. And we got a measurement on the field. And I lost my train of thought there, but Carl, we said before the game that about some of the injuries and being a factor in the depth of Mansfield, but it really hasn't shown that much.
Well, that's the thing about always having fresh legs. I mean, we constantly bring up the fact that Mansfield has 65% of their rosters fresh, and we constantly criticize them for that. And this is where it can play big. And, you got your young legs, and they're ready to go. These kids want a chance. They want to get in this game more than the guys maybe they're out there.
That's a good point, Carl. You bring that up. You see that a lot out there, especially with some of the
I want to jump in here real fast before anything. Carl heads off down towards the locker room.
Miller drops back to pass and passes to Lelko, who is wide open, and scores a touchdown, about a 42-yard touchdown.
And guys, I've been trying to tell you guys all week long, there's supposed to be a ceremony at halftime here today for Mr. Lee Brannon, and Steve President Halstead has a jersey in his hand, and Lee is here as well, and I'm willing to believe that they're going to retire the number 5 for Mr. Lee Brannon. So, Carl, maybe at halftime, maybe you can just stick around the area, and we'll try to grab Lee and get a few comments from him.
The great thing about Lee is, I've gotten to know Lee over the years. Lee is not only a great football player, but a great personality as well.
Yes, he is.
And he's really, I hate to say it, but Mansfield's really missing him this year.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I never really got to know Lee until this year in one of my classes, and Lee is probably one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
After each passing year, it just got harder and harder, and it takes its toll on your body.
Yeah, I played for 7 years from junior high on up, and I tell you what, my bones still hurt, and I played flag football the other day, and I tell you what, I was sore because it's the first real any activity I've done since I played. So, I mean, I'm hurting.
Mansfield having some problems on the field as the kickoff from Bloomsburg from number 91, Zach Quigley. No one called for the ball. It bounces, and Steve Smith covers the ball with his dear life. And
well, what happened there is that ball took a real odd bounce and then hit number 51, Andrew Craver, right in the back. And it left, like you said, Rearick to go down there and try to recover it.
I tell you what, if you're Mansfield here, you can't give up. I'd like to see him go downfield a couple times, a couple strikes here.
I'd love to see Motley air one out here and see what he can do, but with the possibility of an interception.
I think we're just going to see the ball kept on the ground, the clock run out. Maybe whatever happens, happens. No, maybe not.
He drops back to pass and overthrows Rearick by about 3 yards.
And the defender, Rearick, there got held up by a defensive back, and
that it comes into play. But I still think that's one of the things where Motley needs to read that and adjust his passing.
And with a quick drop there, and I think a lot of the reason why Mansfield wanted the quick drop this week is because of the Bloomsburg defense and everything. But the quick drop, your receiver's supposed to be looking for the ball. They know, hey, look, he's taking 3 steps and gunning it. You got to be looking.
Right. As Motley sets underneath the big man Brian Confer with Roscoe and Parlanti in the backfield. Motley drops back to pass, has some time, throws across the middle, and it's intercepted.
And I tell you,
number 24, he brings it down to about the 20-yard line where he's brought down. Number 24 hold on a minute, I have it right here. Toye Berry, that's his second on the day. He's also the return man.
And we said that Bloomsburg was hanging around there, and it was almost like they were toying with Mansfield. And I tell you what, the better teams sometimes do pull away later on, and that's what we're seeing right now. As Mr. Alexander, the basketball coach, just walked in. They had a fabulous evening last night. And Carl, you got something for us.
I was going to say, JR and Steve, there's still a lot of time on this clock, 1:37.
I think
this could be detrimental for the Mansfield team right here.
Bloomsburg capitalizes here and goes in with a very comfortable lead.
They had movement there, and I tell you what, there was movement there on the quarterback. He put his hands under the center there and pulled him out, and you can't do that.
That's right.
But I don't believe they're going to call it. And a lot of times they don't. They get the defense for it. But you cannot put your hands under center and pull them out because it's always a penalty.
Right. As Mansfield will hang out for one last stand before the before halftime comes about. I think it's necessary for Mansfield to hold a stand here. Traditionally this year they've done so much better in the second half against these big-time teams, and that's exactly what they need to do right now, is shut these guys down here, go into the locker room, and come out with a full head of steam like they normally do. As Miller drops back to pass, he's going to roll left. I think he's going to take it himself, but he's going to be pushed out of bounds.
As Carl over there is dodging guys out on the sideline. Hey, Carl, maybe before the half, maybe you can grab Coach Gilbert and get a quick word with him as he heads off the sideline to find out what they're going to have to do here coming up in the second half to pull this one out.
Not a chance there to take out the quarterback there, guys.
Yeah, next time stick out
do
your
it.
leg and then do your thing.
All right, as Miller sets up his...
Do it Snoop Doggy style.
We're getting attacked by bugs in the press box.
Carl's looking at me now
Miller
like
drops back to pass. He passes over to the side. A diving catch by Lelko, but he's out of bounds. So it will be registered as incomplete pass. With 1:26 left to go, it'll be about 2nd and 15 for the Bloomsburg Huskies. As time just... Mansfield just itching for the time to just wind down so they can get into the locker room. They can regroup, come out with this head of steam.
And I tell you what, Bloomsburg started off today real bad. They had transportation problems at home. They were stuck in their parking lot where the buses broke down. They didn't get here until about 12 o'clock. That's where the game was late started. Sometimes that has a mental thing going on in your head there.
Miller takes the shotgun snap. He passed it into the end zone, and it's...
Good defensive play by, I believe that's Victor Day.
That was Victor...
That was Victor Day and John Johnson compiling on that stop.
I tell you what, that was a good read by both of them. You could tell the quarterback was staring at number 19, who is T-Rell Johnson. He was staring at him the whole time. Read it well. Both guys did a good job in breaking up the pass. As it'll bring up 4th and 11. I do believe that here I don't understand why Bloomsburg does not have their kicker out there.
Would you put your kicker out there after you had a punt block and a field goal block?
Well, sure, why not? Mansfield could capitalize. Anyway, as Miller is in the shotgun.
Especially when you're on the hash mark like this, it's a hard angle sometimes.
Miller takes the snap, rolls right, pursued, passed into the end zone.
That's why you do not
Lelko covered by 3 different guys.
And the thing, he caught the ball there, and I tell you what, very questionable call. Caught it around the 2-foot mark there.
In defense of the Mountaineers, it looked as though that the referee was not in the position to make that call.
He wasn't. He was getting pushed out of the way. I counted the players coming close to the sideline. It's hard to say. Now, the defense got to take a big step up here with 1:12.
It's going to be first and about a half a yard, it looks as though, and they're going right up the middle. And it's a touchdown.
So that's now 2 touchdowns in the last about 3 minutes.
So to Mansfield's credit, if they stay strong at the end of the half, they go in with a 14-7 game. But instead of,
two mistakes,
and they've got they're going to have a 28-7 deficit unless they can block this extra.
And then in the past few games, they've been getting a lot of points in the first half. They gave up 30-some to Westchester. They gave up 30-some last week in the first half. And then they hung tough in the second half. And this week they're giving up 27 so far, soon to be 28. Don't want to jump ahead of myself here.
Contest. And she's got a lot of dead-eye shooters on her team. She's got a lot of youth. And a lot of that youth is pure talent. I know they have Nicole Kassoff, who's a very tall, a good center type, good power forward for them. They definitely are a playoff possibility. I would agree with her, but her prediction last night was pretty much final. I believe. I think it was kind of neat. And she said she does believe that they are playoff bound.
And I'll tell you what, that 3-point shootout was very exciting. In fact, it went to an overtime a few times, and
just for spite, I'd like to let everybody know that Mike Schrader, the big-time center, did come in third, making 10 three-point shots.
And no offense, Mike's a great player, but he came up short in his
dunking ability.
Yeah.
No. I sound a little bit better, gentlemen.
Yes, you do. You sound a lot better, Carl.
As the somewhat reliable Chris Thompson, but kicks the extra point, which is good, which gives the Mansfield Mountaineers a deficit of 21 to gain as the second half comes about.
Nothing. It's very unusual to see a scoreless game in the third quarter, and the PSAC. And the PSAC, one of the toughest Division II conferences. I was reading on the web earlier in the week that right now Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference is the third best conference in the nation for Division II athletics. So, I mean, it's pretty darn good.
Not too bad at all, as the kicker for the Huskies, number 91, Zach Quigley, will set up his, as we used to call them, kamikaze squad for the kickoff team. The guys that just run crazy down the field and try and find the ball. He'll get his guys ready for the kickoff to the Mansfield Mountaineers with about a minute left.
I got fans down there, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, so
cool.
little kids, man. So it's not just you, which I noticed last night at the game.
Quigley's kick is short to the 20. Conway Brown takes the ball out to the 30 and takes a face full of dirt on that one. I think he landed on his head.
To say at least, he took a face full of dirt.
Go ahead.
Well, as we expect now Mansfield to do with a minute 5 left on the clock here in this first half. Do they run it out? Do they put it in the air? What do they do?
They run it out.
I think they're going to run it out. That's what they've done in the past.
They got burnt last time when they tried to pass, and they better, that's just opinion right here. Is since obviously when Motley tries to squeeze one in there, it's getting intercepted, tipped or intercepted. So it's not just his fault. I'm saying that when you're rushed like this with a minute to go, you need to produce.
I think we also need to take a look at who we're playing as well, because, like I said, this team puts you in a hole. It's tough to climb out.
I tell you what, I think they're not going to run the clock out. It looks like they got 3 receivers set and 2 in the backfield, so we never know.
Molly hands off to Joe Holland, who will go forward for about a gain of 8 yards.
That's the first time Holland touched the ball here in the second quarter.
Holland getting a little charge from that. Holland working his way back from a big-time knee injury. I do believe it was only a month ago. He was on crutches waddling around campus. He has rehabbed himself to starting position here, who's done a great job. Joe and his brother Dan, but to credit Joe, which Dan gets a lot of credit for the defensive side, Joe does a great job on the offensive side.
There's a loose ball in the field.
I do believe that was a snap.
And that might have to deal with the change of center there earlier in the game. And then sometimes it might not be on key all the time.
Right.
Yeah, Motley was moving a little before that ball actually got there, and he saw it. It took an odd bounce up there.
Yeah, it did.
Mansfield's lucky to be recovered.
As time slowly winds down, 10-9, and we're going to end the half with a score.
And Carl, maybe we can quick grab a word with Coach Gilbert or one of the coaches on the coaching staff about what they got to do different here in the second half.
As
Tom O'Donnell's kick goes down to about I can't remember where he got it, but number 17 for the Huskies brings it all the way out. Number 17 being David Solomon Jett. Interesting last name, Solomon Jett. His last brings out to about the 30-yard line for the Bloomsburg Huskies. Keys to the second half.
All right, real fast. First down, 13-6 for Blue. 122 yards on the ground, 22 carries, Mansfield 78 yards in the air, 12 of 30, with 2 interceptions. Time of possession in Mansfield's favor by almost a minute.
Miller back underneath center with McLaughlin and Glaze. Glaze rolls wide open, goes down to the 50, to the 45 of Mansfield territory, pushed out of bounds by John Johnson. The entire right side was wide open, and Glaze just took a stroll in the park all the way down to about the, 41-yard line of Mansfield.
Glaze now is 40 yards short of 1,000 yards on the season. So Mansfield's got to stop. I hate to see guys get milestones on your home team. I hate that more than anything.
So Miller back underneath center, hands off to Glaze again, pops around the left side, and he'll gain about another 10 yards for another first down. Wow, Mansfield not showing that second half strength that they have in past games there, JR.
No, I don't. It's hard to say. It's early yet. Give it time yet, Steve.
I want to say that Mansfield's defense is going to have to step it up. You know, a lot of guys on the sideline just hanging their heads, not having their helmets on, just passing around. We need to get them back into it. I think special teams needs to have another big play here, maybe, as they measure out for the first down. And for the official signal, it is a first down for the Huskies at the Mansfield 32-yard line. I'm trying to reflect on some things. Maybe a 14-7 game right now, barring some minor mistakes that Mansfield just could have dealt without, I guess you could say, yeah, obviously.
They have mistakes late in the second quarter, so just got to work on some other ways of getting the ball. We got a flag here.
Play. Hand off to Glaze. Glaze will rumble for the first down and more.
How many yards so far in the game? Mansfield 3 penalties for 20 yards, 4 for 18 for Bloomsburg.
I still think some of those penalties were breakers for Mansfield. A lot of times they catch themselves in trouble.
Mansfield's offsides again. Mike Lecco for Bloomsburg is 6 for 131 and 2 touchdowns. So he's been the go-to guy there for Bloom.
Lelko's been kind of like our Klecko, except we're not using him much today.
No, we've only used him one time for 10 yards. That was very early in the game. Mansfield's top receiver is Angel Baines, 4 for 33. Travis Motley, 12 of 29 for 78 yards, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown on the afternoon.
And a handoff to McLaughlin. Up the middle, brought down about 2 yards later by Tyson Figueroa, number 97. Tyson Figueroa, one of those real big guys up front who just, one of those kind of John Randall guys, you know, always up there, always in there, always got his nose in the offense's business, if you will. As Miller brings his offense out to the line with Glaze, the lone setback, Lelko, and Johnson out to the left. He'll hand off to Glaze, who bounces around the left side, cuts back up the middle, and he'll score. Touchdown. That's a touchdown for...
I tell you what, they're fighting for the ball there at the end zone, and I don't know why.
He let go of the ball after he crossed the plane, exactly. And it looks like because they were doing that, it looks like Victor Day's coming up a little hurt, a little out of breath or something. As Mansfield falls in the deficit again.
And Steve, you mentioned earlier in the game that maybe Bloomsburg was playing down there. They just scored with ease, no problem. And now they have a chance to make it 35-7.
Mansfield's sitting on their heels right now. They need to
block this kick.
Yeah, exactly. They need to get back into this right now.
JR and Steve, you put a team down like Mansfield 35-7 in your face, and like we said, a top-ranked team. It's going to get harder and harder and harder to bring this game within realm for the Mountaineers.
The extra point is no good by their somewhat reliable Chris Thompson. Other than the block kicks, he's been perfect all day. Kickoff. He scored 34-7. Mansfield down by 27.
There's not much you can say right now. I mean, it needs some positives here.
Yeah, you gotta stay optimistic at this point because literally they have nothing to lose. Mansfield has nothing to lose, so they could pull out all stops and just go haywire here, or they could fall back on their heels and get dominated even more. And let's hope it's the first of the two. As Quigley's kick sails to about the 10-yard line, where Conway Brown will take it. Out to the 20, cuts back upfield to the 25 and brought down back to around the 25-yard line.
See, we were saying when I was talking to someone at halftime, there wasn't a lot of excitement early in halftime at all. The halftime was really dull, and usually when the bands are playing, there's a little bit of excitement. There wasn't too much excitement from when Bloomsburg was playing or when Mansfield was playing. It was just like there was a hush over the crowd,
yeah.
and it was like someone said that like a close relative of everyone here had just died. I mean, it was like not a word.
Right. It's interesting because we always used to call it the 12th man, the other guy, the one supporting the team, giving him the fuel as Motley drops back to pass a quick out to Steve Smith, who runs up the field for a gain of about 10 yards. Good run by Smith. Back to what I was saying, the crowd and the guys on the sideline are that 12th guy, that guy that keeps everybody in it, the guy that makes sure everybody's key and into the game, and that's an important part of the game. That's something that always happens, and you can see that it's not happening right now.
And I believe Bloomsburg's late just threw that one down here, man. We should take that down and give it to Coach Gilbert. But the nice people that we are will return that back to the people before they hurt us.
As Motley takes the handoff to Roscoe, passes out to Steve Smith, number 18, who tries to make something out of nothing, and he gains about a yard, maybe at the most. These out passes, I think, are catching on, JR. You can see it more and more every time.
Well, you can't do, an out pass every time.
And
you can only do it once or twice
it seems
every so often.
Mansfield's find something that works, and they do it 3 times till the defense catches on.
I mean, we have 7, 11, 12 running plays for about 43 yards. I mean, that is awesome.
Mansfield needs to get Joe Horn out there playing out some yards for him as Motley drops back to pass. Passes into middle screen to Angel Baines, who will gain about 5 yards on the play. Once again, we've seen that several times as we will go down the field to Carl Madonna.
Thank you very much, Stephen. JR, I just spoke with one of Mansfield's trainers, and Jake Briggs will not return to this game. He's been playing with that torn cartilage, and apparently it's gotten worse. Also, number 7, offensive standout, Chris Hudak also will not return to this game, a sprained ankle, as we assume. So 2 key positions that Mansfield cannot afford to lose out for the rest of this game.
But Jake Briggs, I know, especially part of that front lineman who I know a lot of
and I almost had to go on the injured reserve list there.
As Motley does a little shovel pass to Nick Parlanti, who gains about 8 yards on the play. Something that you don't see much. Parlanti primarily that blocking back, looking like Mike Almstadt there, getting the ball and just full head of steam down the field. Possibly another key that Joe Gilbert.
I'm set it up on the injured reserve list there. No, the chair that they gave me, I tried to sit down, and the chair was so old that I almost fell through it. So,
that's Motley and the men in black.
We're not getting tripped around.
Motley underneath Confer. I do believe it's still Confer up front. Drops back to pass across for Conway Brown, which is incomplete. The new center, or who has been the center, was Steve Ozella. Confer moving to the guard position that Jake Briggs played so well. Once again, I'd like to know, Jake Briggs being the backup tackle for Aaron Fiacconi in the starting guard. I mean, he's a big part of this offense, and like Carl said, he's done for today anyway.
From what we understand, possibly next week as well, Steve. So this is something that's really going to hurt Mansfield.
It is. As Motley sets up in the I formation, hands off to Roscoe, who's tripped up in the backfield and loses about 3 yards.
I gotta tell you,
Go ahead, Carl.
It's positive. Something I just got to point out, guys, I'm watching Bloomsburg all day throughout the first half and into the second half. I mean, these guys can tackle. They're going for the legs. They're going for the quick takeout kind of play. Something that Mansfield does is Mansfield likes to wrap you up and see what they can do from there. Bloomsburg just goes right after the kill. So
that's a good observation, Carl. You can see that a lot lately, especially a couple of the ones where...
disappointed right there on that run by Roscoe.
Well, where Holland...
You got laying there. I don't pick up your feet.
Right. Where Holland was about to break on here in the second half, the guys wrapping up the feet. The guys are doing a good job on Bloomsburg.
Pick up your feet and move your feet. You constantly move, pick them up. That way you don't get tackled. Shoestring tackle.
Passes to Roscoe, who's going to head down the sideline for about a gain of 6 or 7.
And we're not going to make the same mistake twice here from 47. We're going to kick the ball here. Big mistake earlier in the game.
I don't think so much now that it's burning them since they got that the last 2 scores there in the end of the first half. But you think about that. Without those mistakes and those 2 scores in that,
basically we had 3 turnovers. Basically we had 3 turnovers, and we had to miss 4th down conversions and 2 interceptions. So that's basically 3 turnovers right there.
It's all credit to Mansfield Mountaineers. Some small mistakes. They're in this game as Johnson's kick sails down to the 15-yard line. Contain men. Keep number 24, Barry, going about a yard, maybe no more. Once again, the containment keeping him in the middle, and the rest of the punt squad taking care of Barry there.
I mean, go ahead, Carl.
Got something I just love about John Johnson. He punts the ball away, as you see on that last play, and just comes down the field and lays out. Their big starting defensive end, number 72, John Johnson's an all big-time gamer, man. What a hit by John Johnson after a remarkable punt.
He's again one of those leaders that's just, the All-American, the guy that's going to get the job done for you, as Miller. Rolls right, passes to number 19.
There's a flag, so and right around the vicinity, a holding call. It's hard for me to form it.
Yeah, I had a real good look at that, JR. Number 78, Russell. Steve Russell is going to be the guilty party here, I believe. He had his hands all over number 85, Tyree Patterson. Will await the call.
Johnson with the reception on that play will be taken back. Mansfield's got, I said before, they've got nothing to lose here. They might as well play good smash mouth football and see what they can do with it. They've got 9 minutes and another quarter to go.
Carl, would they call it as a chop block?
I believe they called a clip on it. Yeah, I believe they did, JR.
So the official word is a chop block there. So I know in the NFL they try to crack down on that. That play can get very dangerous. You go in someone's knees and they're not expecting it, and they're out for a long time.
I see some small changes on the defense. Number 99 for the Mansfield Mountaineers.
So I'd like to mention that Marcus Graves is now over 1,000 yards in the season for the Bloomsburg University Huskies. So we'd like to congratulate him on that.
As Miller sets up his offense with the I-backs, Warner and Glaze. Miller almost drawing the defense. Hands off to Glaze, popping up the middle. Getting back to the original line of scrimmage around the 15-yard line.
Guys, and Tyson Figueroa is coming real gingerly as well, favoring that left knee injury that he suffered, I'm going to say 2 years ago, in the game against Millersville. It looks like they may have re-aggravated here on that last play.
I tell you what, knowing Tyson Figueroa, he probably won't come out. He probably playing with no leg with the pump.
Tyson, one of the big men up front on the defense. I mean, like I said before, John Randall, crazy man up front. There's a fake by Miller after the snap. He rolls left. Passes downfield for Loco, who completes the pass at the 30 and brought out the 39-yard line. Covered well by Johnson. He made a great catch over his shoulder.
Preseason All-American John Johnson there. He let the receiver get in front of him, let him get a big gain. And that's going to put Lecco at about 160 yards, I believe, for the game. That's a lot of reception yardage.
He's also looking like that Tim Dwight character, the small guy that just gets the job done.
And Blue came in the game average over 20-some yards in the air, and so far they got that much to one receiver. 155 ball on the ground.
And there's a fumble, and that's going to be Mansfield's ball.
Mansfield needed that there because Bloomsburg was just driving down the field with ease, and Mike Lecker set him for 55. And if I was real quick with math, I'd try to figure out the average for you there. But that's probably about 20 yards. 20 yards of Carl's down the field, and he's got Chris Hudak. Carl, take it away.
Chris, you're obviously a big part of this Mansfield team. Want to tell us about what happened to you early in the game?
I guess I was blocking a run play, and I guess someone took out my leg, pulled up on my ankle. Pretty sprained, I guess.
So, how's it look for next week?
Hopefully I can get back. You see a lot of treatment. I think I'll be back.
How hard has the transition been for you? You were starting quarterback last year, now you're going to be a starting receiver. How's that feel for you?
I like it. I like it a lot. Any way I can help the team out, run some patterns, catch some passes. Great.
Chris, thank you very much, Chris. Good luck to you.
Thanks, Carl. Thanks, Chris Hudak. I know it's probably tough to talk about, especially, you know, for an injury as much as it looked like it hurt him. He's on crutches right now, actually, it looks. But Mansfield back on offense with Motley in the shotgun gets brought down about 10 yards behind the original line of scrimmage.
He almost got decapitated there.
He almost got out of it, but he just got pulled out.
Him getting out of it, it was him going down. It was him trying to make a play. It's just like watching Don McNabb last year for the Eagles. He tried to make a play out of something that wasn't there. And ball's loose on the ground. Bloomsburg still kicking it around. They pick it up. And Steve,
they tried that middle screen again, and they read it, and Rarick might have got hurting on that play again.
Rarick took a pop, and he's holding his ribs. And I tell you what, that pop forced the ball out.
They keep running the same play, and it's, you know, Bloomsburg's not stupid. They keep getting it. They're catching on pretty quick.
JR and Steve, it's something you always want to talk about in football is that pendulum called momentum, and it's apparently just taking a huge swing to the Bloomsburg side.
Absolutely.
Get the ball excellent field position, and this is going to be a huge deflator for the Mountaineers.
And it will, and
Miller with McLaughlin and Henry fakes both of them, and he's brought down by number 60, Ricky Woods.
I tell you,
helped out by Devin O'Rourke.
I say this week after week is when teams are down like they are, you gotta wonder when this 7:05 left, if throwing the ball here from Bloomsburg will be the right thing. I mean, interception here, interception there, and that could be a 14-point swing in Mansfield's favor. You think you want to run the ball here, run out the clock, get out of here. You know you got the win pretty much sealed up. I hate to say it, but
well, there's a whole other quarter after this.
Yeah, there is, and the momentum right now is going Bloomsburg's way. And
I think in a Mansfield defense, they always have a shot.
Well, they do. I'm not saying they don't.
But right now, they can't let Henry bumble for 15 yards for a first down like he just did. I mean, the defense has its good plays and bad plays, it seems, so many times.
And Henry's now going to be close to 100 yards himself, and they average about 200 yards on the ground. So, I mean, they're getting close to their averages, and they're well above their average for points. They're right around their average for points giving up. So, I mean, it's hard to say, Steve. And yeah, I don't want. Hey, not every year you can pull something out. Not every week you can pull something out.
Miller passes across number 84, and it's going to be 6.
Number 84 is
Alan Lexaler. He was pretty much wide open across the flat, right in the center of the field. And Dan, Eric Miller, I got to give him credit on that pass. That was a bullseye pass right in the hands of Taylor.
Guys, the mood down here on the sideline for the Mansfield Mountaineers has become one that's not exactly cordial.
Right.
And I know what you mean, because that's the way it is up here in the box. And that's what it looks like in the stands. I was really excited in the first half, and then there's mistakes there in the second quarter. It really put me down. I was really excited, and I don't know what to think right now.
As Chris Thompson makes the extra point complete, and the score is now 41-7 in favor of the Bloomsburg Huskies. Here at Mansfield University, as the Mountaineers will try and muster their last bit of dignity here by hopefully holding the Huskies for the remainder of the game. They have an entire quarter and 5 minutes and 51 seconds to go. As Quigley, who's done, Zach Quigley, number 91 for the Huskies, has done an adequate job for Bloomsburg today. His kickoff will go to Angel Baines on about the 2-yard line, and he'll bring it out.
Oh,
and they're going to call it a clipping call.
Sorry.
On,
that was not a penalty. That was not.
I think that man struck a chord with JR out there, Steve.
I guess so. But the problem also many times with clipping calls that are called is even if it's on an angle, you have to assume that's a clipping call. So it may not have been dead in the back, but it was a clipping.
It wasn't that. He clearly had his head in front of the defender, and the guy fell down, and they called it. And I tell you what, there's the rules need to be changed. Some of them have to deal with the way you can block a guy. I don't believe in blindsiding a guy necessarily, but I mean, you got to give the return team a chance in returning a kick. I mean, a lot of times now you don't get a chance because the way the rules are set up.
And once again, Mansfield finds themselves deep in their own territory around the 7-yard line as Molly will bring out the offense in a passing formation. Molly sets underneath center. Sends Steve Smith in motion. Drops back to pass. Flushed out of the pocket. He's going to pass across to Rarick, who's up the middle for a first down. About out to the 19-yard line for the first down. Good execution there. Marley rolling out of the pocket, staying composed, and completing it to Rarick right over the middle. I think this is a learning game. I think right now all they have to do is execute. I don't think they should dominate at all. I mean, people may say it's evidence that they're not going to win, but they need to...
I disagree with right there where they were at and throwing the ball. I mean, why not work the ball on the ground a little bit? I mean, they had no box in the backfield. Bloomsburg had to know that the pass was coming. At least give them an option.
There's a pair of...
on the offense.
Again, penalties crippling this Mountaineer team, guys.
Exactly, Carl. And week after week, we say about penalties killing the team.
It's not even that. I mean, I was an offensive lineman myself, and it was just that, I mean, you know the cadence when you go. I can understand you're pumped up. With the score 41-7, though, movement on the line just seems a little ridiculous. That jumps in the game. You know the cadence. You know what's going to be happening. Concentrate and get on the ball.
And when you're on defense, I mean, you're right over top of the ball. My biggest pet peeve is when the nose guard jumps offside. Because, I mean, he's on top of the ball, and they still jump.
Motley, the lone setback, Joe, forgot his last name.
Holland.
Joe Holland, who gets the call and runs for about 4 yards.
We didn't even get to see him, Joe Holland, play when we went up there because, Steve, he was out even before then.
Nice to see. He's, like I said, it was so funny to see a couple weeks ago him walking around campus with crutches, and he's looking good. He's out there. He's running. I don't know why they're not using him more often. He's obviously doing fairly well.
Sometimes when you come back from an injury, they limit the number of plays that you see just so to give you some time to come back. And he's got 4 years ahead of him.
Motley drops back to pass, a short pass to Angel Baines, and it hits him in the hands, and he misses. That needs to be caught. That was about 5 yards on that play if he catches that. As it pops out of the hands of Angel Baines, and it will bring up third down. And it's not on the scoreboard. About 9 to go.
If we were a little more high-tech and had a little more money, we'd probably have some spotters.
Yeah.
And let us know how many yards is to go. But
Motley with Joe Holland, the lone setback. Baines to the right, 3 wide to the right, Baines to the left. Motley drops back to pass, passes over the middle to Klecko, and he'll bring it out to the 35 for a first down.
And this is just like they have a game plan. The first about 20 plays are scripted, all right? And if we would have went off the Mansfield taking a break, trying to catch up here. Congratulations to Mike Klecko, the first tight end ever to go over 1,000 yards receiving in a career. But another thing is, the other week in the Westchester game, I talked to Mike. He said he wasn't in the game plan in the first half. And when you script 20 plays or so, and like Mansfield only had about 25 plays in the first half.
Motley in the shotgun. Drops back to pass, trying to scramble, running into his own guys and being brought down and sacked for a loss of about 5 yards. They need to do some changing here. Obviously, there's problems. He's running into his own blockers out there on offense.
It's kind of funny you guys bring up Mike Klecko. I mean, you want the guy here you're talking about. You want leadership and you want somebody that knows what they're doing out on the field. And I got to say, if I'm coordinating this offense, I have Klecko in there for every 5 plays for every 20 they run.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, Mike Klecko is probably one of the nicest guys around and probably one of the smartest on football sense wise guys in the league. I mean,
they go to him again.
Come back to that in a second.
And he'll bring it back to the original line of scrimmage.
I mean, like I was saying, if you're Mike Klecko, I mean, he has great blood lines. But, I mean, if I was Mike, I don't want to hear about my dad if I'm having a good year. And I mean, Mike's dad was all pro. Mike's brother is having a great career down in Temple. And Mike has probably had one of the best careers ever here at Mansfield for a player and in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. I remember the other week, Carl, during Sports Talk, he talked about wanting to leave Mansfield possibly one of the best tight ends in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, and I think he gives a shot. What do you think?
Very realistic shot, JR. Mike is like you said, he comes from a family of football. His father, of course, like you said, being the All-Pro, and his brother displaying some really great technique down there at Temple. He just comes from a football family, and this is the kind of guy that you need in the locker room. You also need him on the field. So, he's going to be another key element that's going to be missing next year for the Mountaineers. They're going to have to try to find a replacement.
Motley sacked on that last play, bring up first down, and John, the All-American Johnson, goes out there for the punt.
He's like the All-American boy today. He's doing everything.
He's all the everything boy today. He's back there punting for the Mountaineers. Number 24, Barry, will take the punt. And the kick is almost blocked.
I think it was short a bit.
It hits around the 50-yard line, goes out around the Mansfield, probably 49, and we're going to send it back to the station for a public service announcement.
My name is Urba Riera. This is my voice. But it doesn't speak for me. I speak for myself. This computerized voice is my link to the world. It doesn't make me different from you. It makes me the same.
UCP helps people with disabilities one person at a time. To get involved, visit us at www.ucp.org or call 1-800-USA-5-UCP.
Back to Van Norman Field as the Bloomsburg Huskies are making a drive down the field with a big play from Henry, leaving the 50-yard line and going all the way down to Mansfield's 8. There's a flag on the play.
It's going to come back, and I have trouble reading the stats because Bloomsburg radio is standing right in front of our monitor, and if that play were to stand, it would have put Henry over the 100-yard mark in the game as well.
JR and Steve, I don't have the numbers with me. I didn't do a whole lot of research on Bloomsburg. What are they averaging through the air and on the ground this year?
On the air and on the ground. Let me get this here for you. They're averaging on the ground 233.9 yards per game, third in the conference, second in the conference, 207, and they're right on the nose with that, 197 in the pass, and about close to about 200 on the ground right now overall. For total offense, they're first at 434.6.
Phenomenal numbers, phenomenal.
Yeah, with a lucky break for Mansfield, the penalty will bring them all the way back to the Bloomsburg 40, and it'll bring up about a first and 20 as Henry charges up the front with Jason Coleman wrapping him up. He gets a gain of about 5, bringing up second and 15. Mansfield getting a very lucky break. Henry on that last play before the penalty had about a 30 or 40-yard run on that last play, which was a great run, but unfortunately a holding
next week when they got a big game against Millersville. They'll be putting the top 10 Millersville Marauders in action against the top 25 ranked Bloomsburg Huskies. And I tell you what, Carl, I said that earlier about the University of Miami of Florida having 5 years to come back to where they were at in the early 90s, and completely came back the other week when they played Florida State in that game about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Miller for the Bloomsburg Huskies fakes a pass and hands it off to Henry, who rumbles forward for a gain of about 3, which will bring up third down in about 14 or 15 yards. Bloomsburg not catching good breaks here with their field position, but penalties here with the last one anyway. Bring them all the way back to their own 40.
And I'm going to give you the stats on the reverse order. Time possession, 25 for Mansfield, 19 for Bloom, and then these stats are just totally opposite, passing and running yardage.
Miller drops back to pass, and Tyree Patterson will wrap them up and bring them down around their own 30-yard line, which will bring up fourth down, and I don't know.
About 35.
Well, 35 yards, I do believe.
JR and Steve here, 14-time Dennison is down here on the side, and he's warming it up. Quite possible that we may see the end of the day for Travis Motley.
And I tell you what, that might be, I hate to say, a little what they call mop-up duty, going in there to finish out the game so Motley doesn't get hurt. I took notice that you would think that Bloomsburg, being up the way they are, that they would throw in another quarterback to help relieve their starting quarterback, Eric Miller.
That's not surprising. I think they're not going with Dennison right now. It looks like they're sitting Motley back here. I'm curious to wonder sometimes, like, the attitude that, the Dennison must have. Well, now that we lose it, they must really in. I think Gilbert should keep Motley in there, let him take his legs.
Yeah, but if you're a player and your team is losing and your coach tells you that you can go in there and play, I would
goes deep for Eric, and he overthrows him by about 3 yards. Motley trying to air out the ball.
All right, my time to shine. I'm going to go out there and make the best possible game out of the situation, out of what's going on, and maybe next week I'll start. I mean, when you tell a coach, no, I'm not going to go in, you're not. If I was a coach, I remember that, and then if we're up big, I won't put you in. I'll put someone else in there who wants to play.
As Motley sets up his offense on their own 45-yard line, second down and 10, going for the long ball last play. And he'll drop back and pass now past Steve Smith. There's Chip. And it's out of the reach of Steve Smith. The screens, I mean, I'm sure he's racking up the attempts. It's just that they're not even getting the screens. A lot of times they're missed passes, and sometimes they're hitting the hands of the receivers and just dropping.
Yeah, with the score being 41-7, I mean, it's screen passes, like I said, Professor Frexer credit when you haven't gone to the class all semester. Right. And it's 41-7, let's put the ball in the air. That long ball was real close. Rick almost had a read on that. It brings a little excitement to like the crowd, but this crowd is really out of the class.
Mansfield has 21 of 41 attempts for 142 yards, where Bloomsburg has 9 of 17 for 197 yards. So there's a big separation there. Mansfield has a lot of attempts.
Motley drops back with a quick screen pass to Roscoe, which he gains about 2 yards to bring fourth down at about 8. Now comes the punt team. I do believe that's Tom O'Donnell going out to punt it.
3 plays, 3 screens, no yards.
We talked about before the game the number of screens that we expect them to run in the first half. They only ran about 2 or 3 actual screens in the first half. So here we see 3 in a row.
As O'Donnell will take the punt. And the snap. Good snap. The punt is away, and it's a good punt. The wind might have helped that one out all the way down to the 5-yard line. John Johnson's there to wrap him up around the 15 and take him out of bounds. As Mansfield is back on defense.
Grant Stone for Bloomsburg he had an opportunity there to block a punt, and you can tell that their coach told him to back off. He got up there, and he just stood there and didn't make a call. Scores from around the conference. California leading Rockhaven with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 14-7. Kutztown now blowing out Cheney 35-12 with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Late in the fourth quarter with 4 minutes to go. Shippensburg 14, East Stroudsburg 14, and a final IUP 27, Edinburgh 3. And Clarion losing to Slippery Rock really late in the fourth quarter, 20-7. Let's look around the conference, and I tell you what, Carl, some of those scores have some big-name schools taking defeats today early on. Bloomsburg was one of them.
As Henry takes this sweet pass out, Carl, we have some more.
Guys, there is a big problem right now going on with Tom Dennison and head coach Joe Gilbert. They just exchanged some words that had Joe Gilbert in a rant, still looking over and firing comments back to Tom Dennison.
As Bloomsburg is just running out the clock at this point, the play before last. Henry swooping out to the left, gaining about 5 yards, and that was, I do believe, McLaughlin, who bubbled forward for about 4, which gives Bloomsburg Huskies another first down. Interesting to see. I mean, you know exactly what Bloom's going to do. They're going to keep it on the ground. They've got 2 sets of backs with Henry and McLaughlin, and Werner and Glaze. They're just going to run the clock out.
And I tell you what, I know Carl's down on the sideline, and I just saw Coach Gilbert told Dennison to take basically not to leave the field, and it's also understands both.
Yeah, there's a real problem right now between communication with Joe Gilbert and Tom Dennison. I don't care what kind of problem with a player. You never tell a player to leave the field. You are a team. You're 50 to 50 men. You're strong. You never tell your man to leave the field. Bad call in my estimation.
And Carl,
whatever. I mean, since we don't know exactly what has gone on, we'd like to.
And you can sort of speculate. I mean, Dennison was warming up on the sideline, and they didn't put him in. I mean, I hate to speculate, but I'm not going to say, but I'm more than likely in a situation like that, a player just tell the coach, I'm not going in for mop-up duty. And you play the game. I'm sure when you were younger, I don't know if you always started when you played, but younger kids tend to go in real late in the game. And I tell you what, Mike Colicco just went over to Travis Motley and gave him some words of encouragement. So are the other players on the team. So maybe some of them are backing Travis here. I hate to speculate.
Miller takes the snap and rolls left. He's going to pass over the middle for number 11. Darrell Williams, when the pass is complete, down around the 40-yard line for a gain of about 14, which will give them another first down on the 40-yard line. Good passing by Miller. I mean, amongst all the few problems we have on the sidelines and with the loss slowly coming to the Mountaineers here, you got to recognize, there's Bloomsburg's here too, and I know Glaze has hit a milestone today, and some of them aren't doing too bad. Miller has shown great leadership out there and has been passing very well in Bloomsburg's favor as he sets up in the I formation. Miller's not even in anymore. It's for Chris Thompson, the kicker.
I tell you what, I disagree with Bloomsburg throwing the football here. This late in the game in a road like this.
I think since they have Thompson in there, who's also their kicker and backup quarterback, I think they just have him in just to see what he can do. I don't see anything wrong with letting him pass. I think if they're up this much and they want to see what he can do in a passing situation, it's a good thing. But if they're just trying to run up the score, it's wrong. As Thompson sets up with the I formation with Graves and McLaughlin in the backfield, hands it off to number 32 Nelson, or excuse me, 38 Henry, who was met by the inside linebackers from Mansfield and pushed back about 4 yards, but he still gains 4.5 yards on the play.
From down here on the field, Stephen J., that was just a crushing hit by number 99.
That's what it looked like from up here.
It just stood him up.
As Mansfield's defense Rolls up to the ball along against the offensive Bloom, who was racked up their yardage today. And whistles blown. Obviously, a false start most likely called.
And going back to the other situation, if you're a head football coach, you don't need any other distractions down on your sideline. So maybe just Coach Gilbert just told the player just to leave the field, just to maybe cooling off for both sides, and whatever happened down there. It might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing. We'll have to wait and see.
Jared, football is just so much like a business relationship. I mean, you don't have to love the people you work with. I mean, this is football. This is as professional level as you're going to get, besides going, of course, to the NFL. I mean, these guys need to learn to gel as a cohesive unit.
And Tom Dennison was the starting quarterback last year, so I'm willing to bet there's some deep down inside. There's a little frustration that he's not starting this year.
Well, there's definitely some animosity down there. I mean, it hurts. It hurts when you come out and you're replaced by a freshman. It does. It kind of maybe knocks your ego along with your attitude about the whole season. So we'll see how things shape up.
Thompson's pass on the last play was incomplete to number 1, Julius King, who we're seeing a lot of freshmen seeing some time here. Nelson is in, the backup tailback. He's in seeing some playing time here. You can see a lot of white jerseys out there that aren't covered with dirt and mud, knowing they're out there for Bloom. Obviously fresh legs. Has Thompson in the shotgun, drops back, fakes the pass. It's a shovel pass to Nelson. Nelson will break up field for about a gain of 9, brought down by Devin O'Rourke, the big man from Montgomery, Pennsylvania, pretty close to my town.
Yes, it is.
And it's you know, like I said before, it's all about pride. You just don't want to let it go. And you can see that a lot in the defense. So I give Mansfield's defense so much credit because so many times they've had their backs to the walls, and they still keep fighting. They keep fighting. That's why I give Mansfield's defense so much credit. As the punt, I believe the first or second punt from the Huskies today by Joe Dietrich. And Mansfield, as before you could see, I don't know, Carl, if you saw this, when the offense was sitting on the benches there and Motley was in front of them, kind of getting them all ready to go. I don't know if, did you see that?
Just heard a couple of coaches making comments, hey, we got 8 more minutes to go, let's not give up. They just want to see their team. I think they just want to, try to instill something for next week. I mean, this game's over, guys.
I think it's pride. Honestly, I think it's pride. You just don't go down without anything left.
If you take a look, Carl, sometimes people are listening, sometimes take a look at the back of the press box here. The sign on the back says it all, a commitment to excellence.
Motley hands off to Joe Holland, who rumbles forward for about 9 yards, something we should have seen a little more today, in my opinion, something that could have been seen a little more. Once again, you see a lot of white jerseys on that defense, possibly second or third string guys getting in today.
And like we said earlier, Steve, the depth that Bloomsburg had, they have the opportunity to put more people in. Mansfield doesn't really have as much depth as Bloomsburg does. In the next few years, hopefully they will.
Motley sets up under center with Lazal. Motley, calling plays out there on the line, pointing out blockers. Lazal not getting too far. I don't know if they're giving them the...
He's out there making calls that a senior, a veteran
a leader should be doing.
A leader should be doing, and a veteran should be doing.
Guys, Mike Flecko is favoring those fingers that have been plaguing him all year. He's grabbing them again now, taking off that glove. Get an update for you as soon as possible.
All right.
Thank you, Carl.
And another thing is, Carl, and with this being this late in the game, I don't know if we'll see Mike later on or not. And then might just rest those fingers a little bit. He's got 3 more games left here in his career during the regular season. He might play some postseason honors. Big kid, and hopefully someday we'll see him playing on Sunday afternoons instead of Saturdays.
Flecko with Lozal in the backfield, hands off, and I do believe he got about 2 or 3 yards. Make it second down and about 8. Loizal. I always got to wait for Chris Vaughn to say it correctly so I can say it right.
Exactly.
Loizal. As Motley and the guys are just pretty much grinding out with 6 minutes left to go. 7-41 in favor of the Bloomsburg Huskies. Mustering up what little pride they have left on this field, but they,
there's always pride. You always have pride, and you're always going to have it. So, I mean, It's not just not mustering it up.
It's a handoff to Steve Smith. Bounces around the outside.
Oh,
He's
man,
taken down.
Hit down on the sideline.
And Carl, you all right down there, buddy?
I'm telling you, I'm about to leave. I'm about to come up there. I got a bad ankle myself. I'm getting chased by all kinds of people. The update on Klecko is he just re-injured those fingers that have been plaguing him all year. They're going to retape him. He's on his way back in, it looks, guys.
Well, that's good. That's good. Very good to see. You can't stress enough what a nice guy Mike Klecko is. He's a real team player, and he always will be part of Mansfield football from here on out.
As Motley sets up his men in black on the 31-yard line, sends Steve Smith in motion. The fake handoff, the pitch out to Joe Holland. He'll come up, pounding the ball through past the 35-yard line to make it a first down, Mountaineers.
I'd say another thing here, Steve, is we're seeing some stuff we don't normally see. So now it's time to work on these type of plays. Work on some what they call high-risk plays with the option. And when you work the option, you don't want to work it when you're real close in a real game.
I know when you say Holland in Mansfield, they think of Dan Holland, the defensive, player, but Joe is in there. He's doing a great job right now, and that's hopefully in the future he'll get the call.
They're also related there, Steve. So I mean,
they're brothers.
A lot of brothers on this team.
As Rarick gets the call, and that reverse type play where they send the receiver in motion, and as he's going by, Motley turns and gives him the ball, and that's been effective. He gained 9 yards on that play, Rarick did, as there was a flag on the play, and I do believe it was encroachment on the defense. We'll check up on that.
It's around that side. I'll tell you what they call that an end around. And that end around has been made famous lately by Penn State. Penn State did a lot last year with Chopper Field. It did years before with Eddie Drummond, Bobby Ingram, O.J. McDuff. The play works. We have fast receivers, you can do it. And so does have fast receivers. They're trying to work and see how it's going to look. Maybe we'll try it next week against Kutztown.
As 5 minutes remain on the clock, Motley will bring his offense up to the 46-yard line of their own territory. Setting up his offense as Lazal and Holland sit in the split in the backfield. Calls his cadence. Hands off to Holland, and he'll drag about 13 defenders with him for a gain of about 8 yards. 13, even though there's only 11 on the field.
I'm trying to figure that one out. I mean, no wonder you came here to Mansfield. You came here to take the math courses. I mean, what they teach you at IUP, boy?
Not much. Anyway.
Yeah, that's obvious.
As Molly, showing leadership here, and I think the only bad thing about this is why is it now and not before in the first?
I mean, Steve, you got to look at one thing. Mansfield has their first string out there against Bloom's second and third stringers. That's usually what happens to Mansfield is they move the ball well against the second and third string guys.
Drops back to pass, and the pass complete to Steve Smith, brought all the way out to the Bloomsburg 39-yard line. I mean, they're looking like a team again. They're starting to drive the ball. They're running and passing. They're running and passing.
Right before they came out on offense, the offensive coordinator took everyone, sat them down on the bench, and talked to them. He got them all settled down, got them to concentrate on what they needed to concentrate on. And that's your IUP learning experience. I think all they put you out there is how to get up early in the morning and watch a groundhog come out of a little hole.
Oh, that's not funny at all. So Motley sets under center with split backs in the backfield. Holland and Lozal as he fakes the handoff, and he'll pass out to Klecko, who, favoring those fingers, you can tell, and kind of upset that he got tackled in the backfield. But that just kind of shows you the kind of guy that Klecko is. He's hurt fingers. He turns around and throws the ball down, but he makes sure that everybody's okay.
What he did was he was trying to separate himself by posting on the defender there, and just got his feet taken out from underneath him. No big deal. He's not going to let an injury like his fingers affect him at all. He'll play with broken fingers, cut off fingers. And we're going to take a quick legal ID on Johnny 89.5 to the NTE.
The official voice of the Mansfield University Mountaineers. This is WNTE-FM, Mansfield.
We're back here on Johnny 89.5, and I was saying, Mike Klecko reminds me of a guy that used to play in the NFL, and a tough, hard-nosed guy. And Carl probably knows him because he's from the Philadelphia area. Mr. Chuck McNarick, he's a tough guy. he used to play with finger, and look out now, his pinkies are going all a different way. And Carl, does Mike remind you of like a 1960 style, 50 style type player?
Chuck Bednarik was by far one of the meanest and most just ridiculous players to watch. I remember my all-time favorite tight end by far was Chuck Bednarik. Klecko has many Bednarik-like qualities. I don't know if he's got that just that true grit that Chuck had, though. Chuck he'd go after anything, anybody, anytime.
Loisel rolling forward for about a gain of 5 yards to make it 4th down in the South 2, John.
And people might say, well, why you guys mention Chuck Bednarik? He played defense a lot, but he also played offense. He was one of the last true two-way players. And I remember his comment about Deion Sanders and playing both ways. He said, Deion Sanders cannot carry my jock. And I will always remember that to this day. That's something that players today take for granted what the players in the past have said.
Motley drops back to pass, passing for Angel Baines, and the defender just kind of standing in the way of Angel Baines. He was throwing him out of the way to try and get to the ball.
It should have been an offensive pass interference, but this late in the game, they're not to say anything.
Motley just took a whole face full of Jesse Haar, and Motley was also slow to get up, so it started a little tough down here on the field for the Mountaineers. I think they just want to let this clock run out and get on back in the locker room and rethink this whole strategy.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, when you get in there and it's your turn, you want to make the coaches notice you. So I stick on their toes. These quarterbacks going to do that.
As Thompson back out there. No, this is a new quarterback. Hold on, let me check.
Number 13.
Number 13, who is Andrew Herman. In there for quarterback, and you know they're just going to run the clock right out. I think about 3 or...
Once they get to about 1:30, and as long as they get the first down, they can kneel it. And I tell you what, looking into next week, you got to be optimistic. I mean,
absolutely.
Mansfield did show some room for improvement, and next week they got another hard game. And Kutztown covering the game in the top 40 in the nation, and in fact they're in the top 30 on ESPN.com. So I mean, you got to be really, you got to wonder about next week.
Harmon giving the ball to number 23, Willie Green. They are really going deep in their charts now.
Yeah, that they are. And just look at your depth chart there of the team, and look how much farther it hangs down the Mansfield. And that's probably not the fault of players from Bloomsburg. That's probably just our travel squad there, Stephen.
Bloomsburg is one large team. As they lose about 3 yards on the play to bring up third and about 13. With 56 seconds left to tick on the clock. Harmon under center with an I formation. Willie Green, hands off. And he brought down around the 29-yard line, a gain of about 1. Making it 4th down and about 12 with 35 ticks left to go. And I do believe they're just going to punt it away. You know, there's like commotion. They're all like not knowing what exactly they're going to do.
They don't have to snap the football here with 16 seconds left and 25 left on the game clock. They don't have to snap the ball, and I don't think they will. And Carl, we're going to get some comments from you in a little bit, but I mean, what do you think going into next week? I mean, where do you start for improvement?
Well, JR, I mean, it's all got to come with the running game. You started the game the way it should have started. It was 14-7, well on in the second quarter. You utilized Tyree Patterson. They utilized Holland. You got two big and bruising backs, possibly some of the biggest in the PSAC. You've got to run the ball.